voted 5th in the SEC Media Day poll. Not 5th in the SEC East, because the SEC East is a relic, but 5th in the entire league, an expanded Southeastern Conference. There's 16 teams in this bad boy now. And we had 3 options of love it, well-earned, so, some optimism, maybe embracing it a little bit. 2 is cautiously optimistic. 3 was nervous, having Gamecock PTSD. Only 14% are embracing being number 5, voted number 5 going into the season. 59% cautiously optimistic, but 27% still suffer from Gamecock PTSD.
Yeah, this is one of these things that, one of the key phrases, a catchphrase for a while was like generational trauma. You hear these things are passed down through generations, and you may not be aware that these things are happening, but they just sort of get passed down. Like one of the things I always talk about, like with my mother, she grew up with humble means. And she's done really well for herself. And, her and my father, they did really well for themselves in their lives. But sometimes she just reverts back to doing things like, Mama, you don't have to do that. You
don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, no. you don't have to do that. And sometimes these things just, once they get in you, it's hard to get out of you. And I feel like you were onto something when you started, because you're new here, right? And so you're trying to figure out what's going on with the people around here. You're figuring out our fandom. You're learning the psychology. And you're learning that this is a very unique place.
Yes.
And you're starting to find some of the quirks of being a Gamecock fan. And I think you might have stumbled on one of our, if we as a fandom were laying on the couch and we were talking to our sports psychologist, this would be something that we have to deal with this.
Absolutely. It's something that needs to be unpacked. And I thought it was always interesting when I moved here. Obviously, I grew up in East Tennessee, where it is Tennessee Vol country, and whether or not they're really good or going to be really bad, they believe they're going to be really good. You cannot convince them they're ever going to be bad. Like, that's the thing. You never have to convince them or tell them that their team is going to be bad. And that, of course, by the time I got into middle school, all the way up until the time I left, they were bad. Like, the best the best of those years was winning a Music City Bowl, right? Okay. But in the standard in the 3 decades prior to that was competing for national championships and SEC championships. That went out the window. But even in those years, you could not tell them that they weren't cheering for the number 1 team in the country. It was an almost like a Dion Waiters-esque confidence.
Heat check, Mr. Heat check himself.
Yes, I mean, it was a decade and a half long heat check when nothing was going in.
So the people at Tennessee, they would go into a game, they go into Neyland Stadium, and when they lost, they would be surprised. Like, I can't believe what just happened.
Even when you're like,
when they were bad.
Like the Tim Tebow years at Florida, right? Florida beat the living hell out of them for 4 straight years, but going into every single game, there's a way. There's a way.
And so the opposite is for us. When we win, for instance, we'll just put that Tennessee game, right? It sort of came out of nowhere. Obviously, the Tennessee game, I guess I'm talking about 2022. 2022. Yep. Right. I remember walking into that game, me and my Gamecock fandom, like, this is going to be cool. We got the light show. Tennessee's really good. I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see what happens.
And you could just feel as this thing is building up throughout the game, people are looking at each other like,
this is going to happen. This is happening. We're about to beat a top 5 team.
But despite what the score was, and despite people saying this is happening, everybody's still like, what's going to happen? Is this, oh no. Hendon Hooker just got hurt. Here comes Joe Milton, and he's going to bring him back.
This is when it happens. This is when the comeback happens.
And it's just a feeling that you have, and we have to address it, and we have to heal this part of ourselves, because if we're going to go up to the mountaintop, which we are on track to do, we have to feel differently as a fan base.
This is where I wanted to tap into some of your football experience too, because from a player's standpoint, you are experiencing something that these players are experiencing only 4 times. It was either 4 or 5 times. No, 10 times. Just kidding. 10 times in the history of this program.
It's a long history. 10 is not a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a long history. Only 10 times has South Carolina been in the preseason AP Top 25 poll. Now, we don't know what the AP Top 25 poll is this year. I think we won't know that for another month or so. But I can almost guarantee it that they're going to be in the top 25 poll somewhere in the AP.
Well, you just imagine if you're top 5 SEC, that automatically puts you top 25,
That
right?
absolutely should. It absolutely should. And I think, the hype train helps you in terms of getting those votes that's required to be in the top 25. You're not one of those teams that has a question mark at quarterback, but everything else seems to be solid. You have the answer at quarterback. You have the answer at edge rusher. Even the casual college football observer knows South Carolina is going to have expectations this year. This will only be the 11th time ever that they are in the preseason top 25. But you were on one of those teams that was in the preseason top 25 coming off of a solid year. How was that kind of handled behind those doors?
Now, what year was this? This was going into 02. This was coming off of 01, I believe, going into 02. And I think this is why this is a very interesting conversation for me, because in 2000, we went 8-4. My numbers may be a little bit off. I think we went 2000, we went 8-4. The year coming off of coming off that 1-21 slide, we go 8-4, go to the Outback Bowl. It's amazing. We have a very strong nucleus coming back. Everybody's primed and ready to go. And then in 2001, we go 9-3. This train is rolling now. We still have that same nucleus coming back. We have a quarterback coming in, and Corey Jenkins, who's going to be phenomenal. He's going to be an extra athlete. I always make the announcement that Corey Jenkins played quarterback for us, and he played linebacker for Nick Saban with the Miami Dolphins. Just to talk about what type of just to give you type of athlete this guy is if you currently see him is. We have all of that coming back. And this is why I think it's really important for Shane to figure out how he's going to address his coaching style this year, because Shane's always coached from the underdog, chip on our shoulder, something to prove. And that year, going from 9-3 to the next year having those expectations, Coach Holtz did not know how to adjust his coaching style. He simply drove us harder and harder, because as we talked about, the difference between 8 and 9 is a lot. The difference between 9 and 10 to get to that 10th win, it's a steep climb. But he didn't know how to motivate us, and the only thing he could do was just press, and eventually we cracked. And you see that 2002 season, 5-7.
5-7.
That
After
team
being 22 to start.
That team was way more talented than 5-7, but we cracked internally because Coach Holtz didn't trust us to feel as if he was suffering from, I think, some sort of PTSD. Like, this is the only way I know we can drive harder, turn the screw tighter. I guess in the mechanics, and I'm not a mechanic, I'm not a handyman at all, but you keep turning the screw, it's going to strip. And I think that's what eventually happened. You turn the screw tighter, and we cracked. And that team was way more talented than we should have been, than that record indicated, but we just internally, it didn't work. And so that's why I really think this year with Shane is interesting to see how he handles this new paradigm that he's entering as a coach.
It is, yeah, and that's the exciting part, is because we still don't know how that's going to be handled. This is a challenge for him. This is going to be a really fun challenge for him. This will be the first time that Shane Beamer is the head coach of a team that is going into the season in the preseason top 25. Now, in his coaching career as an assistant, he's been on plenty of teams.
Yes.
Which also gives him a background on how to handle that. And he's been on teams that not only were in the preseason AP top 25, but they finished very high in the preseason AP top 25. His days at Oklahoma, they did nothing but exceed what their expectations were and win a conference, or have a Heisman winning quarterback, have players that were expected to be really good and ended up being really good. And I think that may be one of the differences, because when you look at the coaches that make up those 10 teams that had those preseason AP top 25 appearances, Lou Holtz has 2 of them. Steve Spurrier has 4 of them. So 6 of the 10 our Holtz and Spurrier years, coaches that were on the last leg of their career where, like you mentioned, great coaches, but they are doing it long enough to where changing probably isn't what they were at, best at.
Right. They knew how to do it a way, and when that way was not working, again, because just especially speak for Coach Holtz, who was brilliant in doing things his way, but we needed a different touch, and he
didn't have it.
Yeah. What is it? The hammer only sees nails or something along those lines, right? That's all he had. All he had was a fastball. He didn't have a curve. He didn't have a depth. He didn't have a changeup. He had a fastball, and we were tired of it, essentially.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of how, at least in retrospect, in my opinion, that's how that ends up working. I'm not as concerned with that with Shane, though. I know it's different, but I think Shane, the way he works and the way he works with the program, I'm not sure that that's going to be his downfall. It might be something else, but I don't think it'll be that.
Yeah, and that's and here's the thing what I like about that example is that it is a real sports psychology type thing. Like we give out winners at the end of the show. The term sports psychology might be a winner today just because of how heavy we're digging into something like this. But the sports psychology, the SEC didn't get harder from 2001 to 2002. You guys added players, lost some, added some, as does every college football team in the history of college football. But the results still changed because there's still a psychological element in that locker room.
Absolutely.
That needs to be as sound as everything that happens on the football field. So much of any sport is mental as opposed to just being great physically and being prepared physically. But at a certain point when mentally things change and that dynamic changes in a locker room, that can make or break a season.
Yeah, and Shane's teams have been traditionally really solid at finishing seasons, at working through adversity early in seasons. So that's why the indication I'm not necessarily worried about that. But I say all that to say it is a new world that they're entering.
Yes.
All of us. This is a new world.
It is. We have to be able to take this head on. And even if you're not fully embracing the high expectations, some of you are, and I love that. I mean, it's well earned. You're going into a football season where you're expected to be really good in the nation's toughest conference. But even if you're not fully embracing those expectations that the nation has for your football team, not just you, we'll try to provide you some medicine to maybe ease that anxiety because maybe there's some good precedent. There's also some bad. So we will start our exorcism of some early South Carolina football demons. That's going to be next here on the early game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. The Game Network keeps growing. Details soon from The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Wow, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Firehouse Subs, Hook and Ladder jingle, take one.
Hook and ladder,
When it's hot, it just tastes better. Warm that smoky turkey, that thin sliced honey.
Guys, this is a 30-second ad. You gotta sing faster.
Hook and ladder. When it's hot, it just tastes better. Melty cheese and toast spread, mustard, mayo, purple spread, lettuce, green, and onion. The sandwich is too big for the song. It's too big.
The Hook and Ladder, available only at participating Firehouse Subs restaurants.
Bill Gunner for Dr. Dan Balknight and the Men's Clinic. Getting older is never fun. You start experiencing some symptoms that you're not accustomed to. Maybe it's brain fog. Maybe it's low energy level. Maybe it's lack of drive and motivation. But at the Men's Clinic, Dr. Dan Balknight is ready to help you with an individualized treatment that will treat your needs. So give him a phone call today, 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS, or visit him on the web for more information, mensclinicsc.com.
Summer in Columbia. And if you own a business, you too can have the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield. Just ask Mike.
I was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad, and I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
Rhino Shield's not pain, it's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
Business or residential, you can get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield now for 10% off the regular price.
They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Dan Hoey.
This offer is limited, so call today at 833-RHINO-99 or visit RhinoShieldCarolina.com. Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This special alert is for all Americans who own a vehicle. If you have a warranty that's about to expire or no warranty coverage at all, this message is for you. It's time to stop worrying about future car repairs today. Your vehicle is essential, but unexpected breakdowns can derail your plans and your wallet. It's time to future-proof your ride with CarShield. CarShield offers a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that saves drivers thousands from out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Imagine if your engine quits or your transmission fails. You could pay a fraction of the repair cost. This protection plan is at an all-time low, and to give you even more peace of mind, drivers who activate today also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Don't wait for a breakdown to drain your savings. Future-proof your car with CarShield today and drive with confidence. Call CarShield for your free quick quote. Call 800-283-1967. That's 800-283-1967. What do you have to lose? Call 800-283-1967. That's 800-283-1967. Again, 800-283-1967.
And now, traffic sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive on the Game Network.
Busby Road near 321, report of an accident there. Aside from that, things moving along fairly well this morning, so we welcome that for sure. Want it to be a good Wednesday. And, 92, that'll be the high today with some passing clouds. Tomorrow, 90 for the high, maybe some scattered thunderstorms possible. Friday, mostly sunny, 94. And by Saturday, we're going to start a stretch of about 6 days where temperatures are going to be close to 100 with heat indices, I guess is the word, being around 109. So we've got a very hot stretch coming up, but we'll welcome the fact that it's only 75 currently on 107.5 The Game.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Oh, man. Going into a season ranked in the top 25 only happened 10 times previously before this year. And a lot of you are either cautiously optimistic or suffer from Gamecock PTSD. So we're going to unpack a lot of this today on the early game. Talked about a little in that first segment about managing those internally, maybe as a player or as a coach, and how other Carolina coaches have handled those type of expectations. But I think now is an appropriate time to be able to take a look back at those 10 years and see what the precedent is for being ranked to start the season as a South Carolina Gamecock football program and see if maybe the history reflects the attitude. Now, Preston, 10 times, again, this team has been ranked to start the season. How many years of those 10 would you guess that they finished the season in the AP Top 25?
Yeah, I don't know if I can answer these questions because I just feel like my Gamecock PTSD is kicking in. My initially, I want to say like 2 or something like that, but I don't think it's that bad. Let me go with a coward answer. I'll go 5. 5 out of 10.
You're really close.
Okay.
It's 4.
Okay.
Still not the best.
Not batting 500.
See?
Not batting 500.
And see, when you say 4, that makes me 4 feels like 2. That feels like 0.
Correct.
Feels like it never happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it very rarely.
So repeat it again. Out of the 10 years that South Carolina has entered into the season as AP Top 25, only 4 of them have they finished those seasons as AP Top 25.
That would be correct. Steve Spurrier was the coach of 3 of them. And in those 3 years, under Spurrier, they did finish better than where they started. So, for example, in 2011, they were number 12 in the preseason poll. They finished number 9. In 2012, they were preseason number 9, finished number 8. And then in 2013, they were preseason number 6, postseason number 4. So they did get better in those years. And then in one of those years, too, with Lou Holtz in 2001, the team that we talked about in that first segment, preseason number 21, postseason number 13.
So that's a dramatic jump.
So it was a pretty big jump.
So that's the positive. That's the positive sides of this coin. But the 6 other times.
Yeah, the 6 other times. So out of those 6 other times, 3 of them, Carolina ended with a losing season in total. Went from preseason.
I'll take one of those.
Preston says guilty as charged, raises his hand on those because 2002, yes, one of those seasons. 1985 was another one where they started off under Joe Morrison, number 17 in the preseason poll, finished 5-6. In 1970, under Paul Dietzel, were number 17 to start the year, finished 4-6-1.
Didn't realize my run at South Carolina was so historical. Okay.
You covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
You covered a lot of ground.
Did have the gambit, I would say. Yes, I did have the gambit. All right. So, if a Carolina fan was to feel a little bit apprehensive about this year, there is maybe some historical data backing them up.
Yes. It's not just a feeling. It's not just a vibe.
So we're validating your feelings.
We are validating your feelings here. This is a feeling validation. Now,
but just because it was doesn't mean it is or has to be.
Yes, does not mean it has to be. Again, I'd love to reiterate. This is the end of in the Shane Beamer era. This is the first time that you're going to have an appearance in the preseason top 25. So this is the first time you've had these type of expectations under this coach going into this year, and that can completely change. Now, as we have seen, the success has changed from coach to coach, right? So outside of Spurrier and Holtz, the only other coaches who have been in this club, Joe Morrison, Paul Dietzel, Warren Geese from 1959.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know about the exact pronunciation there, but Coach Warren G.
Coach G.
That's it. Coach G in 1959 had his team top 15 in the country. They end 6-4 and ended unranked. But your recent history is pretty good because now if we cut that down to the 4 Spurrier years and the 2 Holtz years, that's 6 of them. You did finish ranked in 4 of those 6. So recent history tells you the trend is better. But in 2 of those years were really disappointing. Obviously, the 2002 season, we alluded to it, 5-7. And then the other one for Spurrier where he did not finish the season ranked was 2014, where they went 7-6.
And That one was over before it started, which we might get to a little bit later. that one we had feelings about that one pretty early. There were some early indications that season was not going to be. It's going to be a lot of fun. It wasn't going to be great though.
It wasn't going to be a Preston Thorne type football game.
No,
each game.
And I also positioned. We'll talk about it later. But I also positioned, though we did not win all the games that year, might have been Steve's most fun as a coach.
Most thrilling.
It was
as a football coach.
He absolutely loved. If he could have just won some of those games, 52-49 or whatever the case was, I think he would have been. Because yes, we were winning games with Marcus Lattimore, but that was kind of like 21-17, run the ball 40 times.
Yeah,
I don't think
different type.
I don't think
of
he loved
game.
that. But those Dylan Thompson years, that year he was like, "This is me."
Yeah,
he just couldn't win.
Dylan lit it up
for sure.
He lit it up
for sure.
And I went back and looked at that team specifically earlier this morning, scoring almost 33 points a game, giving up almost 30 and a half points a game. If you are like me and you like a game that is nothing but high scoring, high flying offense, this team was for you.
It's like financially, if you make $1 million a year and you spend 1.5, you're broke. Right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can make a lot of money if you still spend more. That's not working for you.
You're not turning a profit.
Yeah. So that was the thing. They scored a lot of points, and it didn't necessarily work for that squad. But yes. So if you have some of those feelings, there are some recent examples to point to that were positive, but there are also ones that could point to that are negative.
Yeah, and they're interesting. They're valid. They're definitely valid. As somebody who is not a lifer here, I completely understand going into this season being like, oh, I've seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I've got a bad feeling about this. It's part of that generational trauma, generational sports trauma of Gamecock fandom, where if you have been lucky enough to be alive for all of these seasons of Gamecock football, you remember some of them very well. And deep down inside, you are not going to forget them.
Take a second to talk about my dogs. I have a dog. I have my current dog, Riley. She's awesome. Riley the Roddy. And I had a dog, Murphy the Rottweiler. Murphy was the older dog, right?
Okay.
When we had two dogs, Murphy was there first, and Murphy sort of showed Riley the ropes. Murphy was a Rottweiler, 80-pound Rottweiler, and we used to put him in his room by taking a baby, like those baby fences that you put in front of the stairways.
Oh, yeah, a little baby gate.
Baby gate. 80-pound Rottweiler, all we would do is just put the baby gate in front of the door, and Murphy would stand behind the baby gate and cry. And he would just cry and cry and cry.
And wouldn't even try to knock it down.
Would not even try and knock it down.
Okay.
When little Riley came in, little Riley was like, what's this gate? Boom, I'm knocking the gate down.
We're bigger than the gate.
Yeah, this gate means nothing to me. And I learned a little bit about how you could put some barriers into place for people. Murphy could never get over that little barrier holding him back, but Riley would just burst through. And so I guess I say that to say, hey, you younger Gamecock fans, don't let us old kooks hold you back. Don't let us, with all of our baggage, keep you down in your Gamecock fan. This is a new time. It's a new era.
Just don't break through the hedges, because that's going to cost too much money.
And it's going to cost you
right. I'm saying you all should embrace this new era and don't let us hold you back. We have baggage, but that's ours. It's not yours as the new generation to hold. R.I.P. to Murphy.
Oh, Murphy.
My guy.
Very obedient. Sounds like a really good
He was a great dog. Great dog. Riley, she's good dog.
But what this program's done has developed players to help you break through that gate, to help you understand the gate is a barrier handed to you by man and can be broken by man. Some of those players are in the NFL now. And Old Man versus Analytics today, wanted to give those guys a shout out and see exactly how good of a fit they are in their new homes. That's next on the early game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
The Game phone lines at 803-404-6100. Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Now offering 12-month payment plans on all HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. Online at callAAAtoday.com.
Pressing here for our friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. If your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. If it's a cracked windshield, it's no problem. They'll come out to your location and they'll replace it for you, usually for free, and they'll work directly with your insurance to take away the headache. They'll come out to wherever you are, school, home, work, it does not matter. Absolute Glass will come out to you, take care of the job for you. Now, if you're at home looking to increase the value of your home, you can do that with new windows and mirrors. And Absolute Glass will come out and take care of that for you, too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. Say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country. When you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
Connect with a local divorce attorney today. Text GUYS44 to 323232. GUYS44 to 323232. 1201 Main Street, Columbia.
Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Hey Gamecocks, Gamecock Traditions has some very exciting news. Now, exclusively at Gamecock Traditions, we are taking pre-orders for a limited edition Lenore Sellers box action figurine, signed and numbered, and each will come with a certificate of authenticity. The figurines are scheduled to arrive in August, and they will be sold as the orders come, meaning the earlier you order, the lower the number you get. Artwork can be seen on Facebook or in stores and online at GamecockTraditions.com. 1,500 is all there are, and once they're gone, no more will be made. Gamecock Traditions, bringing you exclusive Lenore Sellers action figurines. Hurry, order yours today.
You ever go car shopping and just walk back to your old car and say, you know what? You're not so bad. Maybe a new paint job, maybe fix up those dents and dings. New car prices are going crazy now. Interest rates, prices, everything is up. Mako can make your current ride look like new. Paint touch-ups, dent repairs, fresh bumper. It's a little like a car makeover is what it is. At Mako, they make it easy. Come in for a free estimate, and their expert technicians will handle the rest. Quick turnaround, by the way. Real value. That's what Mako does. And we're keeping our cars longer. So make your current ride feel new again. Before you shell out for something new, make your old look new. With Mako's national reach and community focus, you're not just getting top-notch service. You're actually getting a partner you can trust. Go to Mako.com today. You'll find a shop near you and book an appointment. That's Mako, MAACO.com. And remember, better get Mako.
Don't let the popsicles and muddy puddles of summer take over your home. Call Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Zero Res doesn't use dirt-attracting soap, leaving you a healthy home every time. Take advantage of their summer sale for 15% off all services. That's 15% off carpet, air ducts, area rugs, and more. Just mention me, Elijah Campbell, on 107.5 The Game to secure this deal or book online at ZeroResColumbia.com. And ask about the Zero Res commercial cleaning, too. Zero Res. All they leave is clean.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app. And now, traffic sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive on the Game Network.
Augusta Highway near Ermine Road. A report of an accident there. Also Busby near Highway 321. 92 is the high we're looking forward today with a mix of clouds and sun. Tomorrow, 90 for the high, maybe a scattered thunderstorm in the afternoon. Come Friday, it's going to be mostly sunny and a high of 94 before we start on quite the stretch of some really warm temperatures on Saturday. But right now, 75 on 107.5 The Game.
with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
It's time to get a little nerdy on Old Man versus Analytics, and today we're talking about our friends that used to be South Carolina Gamecocks last year that are going into big rookie seasons. A lot of them signed. Almost all of them are signed at this point, right? I don't know if for sure Kyle and Tonka are signed.
I haven't seen that they weren't, so I would assume that they are.
Yeah, I think that'd make news if your fourth-round picks were not.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to leverage. When you get drafted in the fourth round, you sign.
Yes, you're happy to be here.
Yes.
You're going to sign either way. The first Gamecock taken off the board, Nick Emenwari. Now, the Seahawks last year, Preston, 26th in the NFL in stop rate. Not very great. Nick Emenwari's 89.5 tackle grade last year and an elite missed tackle rate of only 7%. Now, for those who aren't familiar with the metric, an elite NFL level is 10 or less. Nick Emenwari's was 7 last year. So he's brought in to be this new version of Cam Chancellor, former Seahawk great.
I can see that. I can see that. When you give me those numbers, I like this analytic. I like the idea of missed tackles because we don't calculate that, right? We see it, but we don't calculate how many tackles you don't miss or how many times things. I guess I've been thinking about this a lot. We don't pay attention to how many times things go right. Like,
yes.
Everything goes right a lot every day. But we only would pay attention to when somebody misses a tackle. But in this case, Nick makes a lot of tackles. So, yes, coming in to be the new Cam Chancellor, which would be nice for that secondary for sure.
That's one thing I like about missed tackle rate is that it gives you the rate in which it happens. So you can tell me somebody missed an X amount of tackles during the season. Don't know if it's good or if it's bad because I don't know how many plays that player is in on. Nick Emenwari was in on a lot of plays. And if he's only missing tackles 7% of the time, that's about as sure-handed of a tackler as you get. So when I was coming up with this last night, I was thinking, man, that kind of reminds me of Cam Chancellor a little bit. Cam Chancellor didn't miss tackles. Maybe he wasn't the best safety in coverage, but when you watch that Legion of Boom team, Cam Chancellor was there as the enforcer.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you got past that first level of the defense,
wasn't much after that.
Lord be with you.
I love the phrase eraser. He's just somebody who just erases any mistakes that people make. He comes in, he makes a sure-handed tackle, and instead of the gain being a 15-yard gain, it becomes a 6 or 7-yard gain, right? And that's what those sure-handed tacklers do. You don't notice it in the statistics. There's no like expected run average or something. That might be a cool analytic, but they stop things from happening.
It's like in baseball, they have the defensive runs saved.
Yes, something along those lines.
How many yards did you save, right? Did you save your defense from giving up because you made that tackle and avoided big-time disaster?
And I'll just take this opportunity to talk about that third down tackle that Nick Emenwari made on the flat against Luther Burden in that Missouri game. I never miss the opportunity to talk about how much I loved that particular play. Wasn't anything fancy or flashy. He just made a tackle on one of the best receivers in the SEC, which would have given us a chance to win had they not, got that fourth down. But we're not talking about that.
It's one of those plays in Gamecock history that kind of got buried, or even just like in sports history, kind of get buried because something else that happens afterwards.
Yeah, if we get that stop, that play is like a big time play. But because we didn't, it kind of gets. But I will fear not. I will always remind you.
Yes,
that it happened.
Now for TJ Sanders, made his hay as a run stopper here at South Carolina. One of the better run stoppers really in all college football last year, but his 33 total pressures of the quarterback gives the Bills an underrated pass rusher from the interior.
I think this is really interesting because TJ, when he came in, did not want to play the run. He fancied himself as a basketball player, more of a finesse guy, and I think that we can give a lot of credit to T-Rob as the coach, instilling that mentality into him, helping him understand that, hey, you have to play the run in order to rush the passer. And so the Bills are actually getting somebody who really is adept at rushing the passer, has the skill set to rush the passer, and now he's developed into a run stopper also.
Yeah, and is doing it more consistently.
That is surprising. If you would have told TJ that he would have been a run stopper, he would have been like, no, I don't think so.
He's like, I don't know if I came here to do that.
That's not what I do. But the numbers indicate that he's become that.
The will.
2 for 2 so far. I like both of these numbers so far.
Let's see if you like this one, because the Bengals' defense last year was kind of just optional.
Mm-hmm.
They were 25th in yards surrendered per drive. There's only 32 teams in the National Football League. Demetrius Knight is here to the rescue, considering he had 6 games last year with at least 3 credited stops in those games. Basically meaning you made the tackle to avoid a first down or create a win for the defense or a successful play for the defense. 6 games with at least 3 of them. And a couple with 4.
I like this number, but the Bengals defense is atrocious.
It's so bad.
And I just saw an Instagram post. I saw a post of a post. This is how the world works now. I saw a post of a post where Trey Hendrickson was not in the state of Ohio.
He's in Jacksonville.
He's in Jacksonville. Is he from Jacksonville?
I think so. He played at FAU.
That'd be the only reason why you go to Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's just visiting. You're not just visiting Duval.
You know what the best
Shout out to Duval. Duval. Shout out to Duval.
Some people have said, not just me saying this, I think Jacksonville is an okay town. So the best thing you can do in Jacksonville is leave.
Listen, shout out to anybody from Jacksonville if you're listening. But yeah, Trey Hendrickson's not there. He was really a stalwart part of that defense. We talked about Shamar Stewart yesterday. The first-round guy's not there. Might be an uphill climb for our boy.
If anything, he's going to get tasked with getting to do a whole lot. And for that, I'm happy for him.
Yes.
He'll get a lot of opportunity.
Job security.
Yes. Job security is firm.
Job security. So good for him.
Firm right there. Lastly, the Chargers, 23rd in pressures of the quarterback last year. Kyle Kennard had 4 games with at least 3 quarterback hurries in 2024 as a member of the Gamecocks. So that number for the Chargers should significantly improve this year.
I think that's to be determined. To be determined. What we're trying to figure out is, does Kyle Kennard's skill set transfer to the NFL? We know he was dominant in college, but we don't know whether he was dominant because of try hard or because of skills. Both are 2 things which are needed.
Yes, prerequisites to play in the NFL.
But if he doesn't have the physical skills, which I would think is why he sort of dropped in the draft, then maybe he won't be as dominant. I think that's to be determined.
Yeah, I think he's one of those, if you pair him with another really good edge rusher, which I really kind of wish Joey Bosa was still there.
Yeah, I had to update my mainframe because Joey Bosa is not there anymore.
It felt like he was there forever.
Yeah.
He hasn't been in the league that long in the grand scheme of things, but to me, he's been there 15 years, but not there anymore. So the Chargers having to rebuild that entire pass rush unit.
Also, I get Joey and Nick confused, but Joey is going to the Bills. Is he on his 3rd squad here?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so. And one more away from Journeyman.
That's
Journeyman
right.
Joey.
Close, yeah.
Close.
Speaking of Journeyman, we haven't got to talk about this yet, but Chris Paul, Journeyman. My God. My God. That man, it's been a long, strange trip in the last decade for him. But we've been putting on our fan psychologist hat here in this first hour of the show. We're going to continue to do so. So if you don't feel great about being picked high during the season or being a team that has a lot of expectations on them, we'll ask you this question, and we'll get your responses during the break. When were you radicalized into Gamecock PTSD? And we'll talk through it next here on the Early Game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
Sterling Sharp is becoming the first ever Gamecock inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Roofing All-Americans and 107.5 The Game are giving you the chance to go. 4 listeners get the opportunity to win 2 tickets to the enshrinement ceremony, plus 2 tickets to the NFL Hall of Fame preseason game the next day. Just go to sterlingsharp.roofingallamericans.com to get more info.
This
This is Boomer Esiason with the Sportsman Ed. NFL training camps are open, and hallelujah, at least for us fans. Micah Parsons reported to Dallas's camp without the contract extension he seeks. His attitude about these stalled negotiations? Let's see if they want me to be here at the end of the day. Now, another all-pro pass rusher, Cincinnati's Trey Hendrickson, posted a picture of himself in Florida rather than at Bengals camp. Bengals have got to get this one fixed and fast. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay, and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Alan Kennington, responsible for this ad. Office in 1440 Broad River Road, Columbia, South Carolina.
It's called an accident for a reason. It wasn't planned, but it happened. It's not your fault, but somehow you're the one paying. Medical bills, lost wages, and the pain. You need someone on your side to fight for you. With over 85,000 cases resolved in 12 offices across the state, you need South Carolina's largest injury law firm. On your side, you need George Sink now.
Get George Sink Law Firm on the line. Call 999-9999.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. It's just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler Brown. If you or a loved one are over 65 and haven't completed a long-term care planning consultation, now is the time. Did you know that if you aren't able to afford the high cost of skilled care, your assets can be rapidly depleted to only $2,000 unless you plan 5 years in advance? Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, it's time to unpack some generational trauma. On our phone lines right now, Joe, you're the first one up. Brave soul. What radicalized you as a Gamecock fan?
So listen, good morning, guys. So we whip on Alabama at home, 35-21, and then the next week we go to Kentucky. We just manhandle them in the first half. Lattimore gets hurt, and you know the offense didn't move as good, but the defense also checked out, and we moved to Kentucky, man. And the way we lost to him was a Randall Cobb kick, and it's like nobody paid attention to him as he ran down the field by himself and caught a wide open touchdown to seal the game. I will never, ever forget that game, man. Oh, my God. Oh, God, man. I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night like, get Randall, catch him.
Joe, when you see those beautiful green eyes that Randall Cobb has, you probably just like, they look like demon eyes to you, I'm sure.
Dude, I I don't like Randall Cobb right now in this state. Listen, man, great show this morning, fellas. I love listening to you guys, man. You guys have a great day, man.
Appreciate it, Joe.
Appreciate you, Joe. Yeah, Randall Cobb, one of the best high school football players I've ever watched in my life. Like top
local?
5. Yeah, Alcoa High School.
I would imagine that.
A high school football juggernaut. I think they won 17 of 20 state titles in Tennessee for a while, and that dude was an electric factory.
Beautiful eyes.
Incredible eyes.
Beautiful
too.
eyes.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to when you make eye contact with Randall Cobb, because I'll see him at SEC Media Days now.
You get lost in those beautiful eyes.
You absolutely can.
I can see that.
You get very impressed.
Mm-hmm.
But that game is absolutely one on there on the heels of upsetting number 1 Alabama. Our man Jeff Haley on my personal text line, our personal text lines, text the three of us here on the show, says, where do we start? Furman 1982, Navy 1984, the Citadel 1990. I think I'm going to crawl back into bed now.
Yeah, that's probably, I'm sure that's a lot of sentiment. And as I'm doing my historical thinking, the Navy game happens in 84, and then they come into the 85 season ranked again, and they have a losing season, as indicated by your research here.
Yep.
So that was a tough stretch for Gamecock fans, for sure.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
That one's absolutely brutal. And then they're on the Firehouse Subs text line. KT from Lexington says after the Navy game in 84. And he texted earlier in the show. I don't know if KT knew where we were going with this. I don't know if he had access to the doc, but he might have been in there. He says, my exact words before that Tennessee game, alluding to the one, I believe, the one they won. He says, we're about to get crushed. So on the other side of the coin, there is some positive memories there. But there's another Tennessee game that we'll get to as well that might be what radicalized, I guess, some folks. Ray texts in and says, I will hate the name JoJo Kemp till the day I die.
If I'm correct, the JoJo Kemp was the game he was tapping his helmet trying to get out, and the coaches were telling him, no, you will run the ball again for the 15th time in a row. And we could not stop him. If my memory serves me correctly, Ray, I believe that was that game.
That is some pretty significant lore. Mike Metz texts in and says, it all happened when my man Blake Mitchell was quarterback.
Shout out to my guy Blake Mitchell from LaGrange, Georgia, my dude. I could see some of that happening.
That looks like a man with a deep Southern drawl.
Yeah, very
like
strong.
That. Here we got one. November 2000. We were up 21-3 at half versus 5th-ranked Florida, and they scored 38 unanswered points in second half when Jesse Palmer replaced Rex Grossman.
Yes, that did happen. Tough spot. Game, I believe we blocked a punt to start the game. We were up significantly, could not hold on. Those were good teams.
You're a fan of the Surrender Cobra, right, Preston Thorne? I think it's the funniest thing in college football. Big play happens, the camera pans to the crowd, and it's a bunch of people with their hands on their heads like this. And one of the funniest phenomena, like, it's amazing how that's the natural human reaction to when you just watch your team like blow it or whatever. We do have a texter on the text line here. Firehouse Ups text line says the Pinnock fumble against Georgia, my first Surrender Cobra.
Yeah, that was 02, and that set the omen for that season. That game, we had overcome the Pollock miracle, overcome all these things that happened in. Pinnock fumbled, one of our best players. Again, what do you do when one of your best players messes up? It's like Pinnock. I think Pinnock might have played 10 years in the league for the Chargers, and he was great. He fumbled that play, and that changed the trajectory of that season. That was a tough one.
Do you remember your first Surrender Cobra?
I'd have to think about that. Maybe I blocked it out of my mind. Let me get back to you on that. Let me think about that one.
Yeah, I've got a few. I'm trying to think of what like the first one would have been. Where I remember like sitting in front of a TV, and my hands are in my head in like total disbelief.
That pinout one is so damaging because it's going into the student section. You're running the option. Corey's running the option. He brings the man down to him. He pitches the ball. And there's nothing but green grass in front of them. It's literally it is going to be a conversion. We're going to win the game, and it just does not happen. And we proceed to go 5-7 for the rest of the year. That's a tough one.
And a year in which you were preseason
number 9, I think.
Yeah, preseason top 25. But there are good examples and bad examples of this. We'll continue to play sports psychologist and unpack this, but. It's Big Ten Media Days this week, and the Big Ten, the conference that came up with the most radical proposal to the college football playoff format we have ever seen, and Tony Petitti is doubling down. We'll talk about that in the second hour of the early game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Pressing for our friends at Integrated Media. Listen, we've been trying to tell you that you need to get your outdoor setup ready. Well, guess what? The season is literally around the corner. I believe they just announced the first day of practice, which will be August 1st. That means we're here. Get your outdoor setup ready. What do you need for your outdoor setup? You can get Samsung Terrace TVs that are waterproof, Sonos outdoor speakers for TV and music, Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors. This is important so that you can have all your devices sitting there with you. Your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your TV, all working on nice, strong Wi-Fi so you can be streaming everything at once. So from home theater setup to adjusting your thermostat or monitoring your security systems from your cell phone, Integrated Media is the company that you need to call. Call Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. That's 803-948-8327. Or reach them online at integratedmediainc.com.
Sponsored by Compassion International.
Every day, a child in poverty waits for a sponsor is another day of hopelessness. There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Are you considering a new roof or repairs but unsure where to start? Crescent Construction offers free roofing estimates to help you make informed decisions with ease. Our expert team is ready to assess your needs and provide comprehensive insights. Visit our website, CrescentCarolina.com, to learn more about our services and schedule your free estimate today. Trust us to guide you through the process with professionalism and care. Don't wait. Contact us today at CrescentCarolina.com.
They say you can't always get what you want, but you get what you need. At the Haven Harley-Davidson, we say, why not both? The fact is, you need a new Harley, and we want your old bike. We'll give you top dollar for your trade, especially since demand is through the roof for Sportsters, Softails, Trikes, and touring models. Any make, any model. So trade in and trade up now. Visit thehavenharley.com. We want your bike, and you need your freedom. Get it all at the Haven Harley-Davidson.
It's officially time for Zero Rez's annual summer sale. Take advantage and get 15% off all cleaning services. Just mention me, Elijah Campbell, on 107.5 The Game to secure this deal today, or book online at ZeroRezColumbia.com.
No school means no lunch for millions of kids in the summer. Let's come together, food banks, families, and generous individuals like you, to make sure no child goes without food in the summer. Together, we can make a difference. Learn more at feedingamerica.org/summer.
And now, traffic sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive on the Game Network.
Highway 1 near Ermine Road, an accident that they're still working. Also, Busby Road near Highway 321. 92 for the high today with some clouds. 90 tomorrow. Might see those afternoon thunderstorms popping up. And Friday, sunny, 94. Starting Saturday, we've got about a 6-day stretch of where we're going to have heat. Temperatures around 100. Heat index could get as high as 109. So that's going to be a nasty, almost week that's going to be coming up. So we'll enjoy these somewhat cooler temperatures currently. It is 75 on 107.5 The Game.
Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game, WNKT Eastover, Columbia, a Cumulus media station.
It is caught!
The early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Number 2 of the early game starts right now. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. bumping the Ozzy Osbourne coming back, the Black Sabbath banger of Iron Man. R.I.P. Ozzy Osbourne. For those who don't know.
Shout out to Ozzy.
Yeah.
What a life. What a life.
What a life that's been was lived.
He lived it all.
There was a lot of living being done.
He left nothing left.
I want to say that falls under the category of living it to the fullest.
Yeah, he got it all.
I'm thinking he may not remember it all, but
but he lived it.
He did live it.
He can say he lived it.
Shout out to Ozzy.
So yes, absolutely. Shout out. For those who don't know, Ozzy Osbourne passed away yesterday. But earlier this week, it's Wednesday, right? I think it's Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Monday was the start of Big Ten Media Days, and which means Tony Petitti, the commissioner of the Big Ten, got to speak. And for all those who were mad kind of at Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti, like grouping them together, might have been guilty of that for recommending maybe a college football playoff format if the thing expanded to 16 teams, that would require both those conferences to get 4 auto bids predetermined before the season started. Well, Tony Petitti really didn't back away from that. Greg Sankey kind of backed away from that and was very clear during SEC Media Days all week that a 5-11 model, if they are to expand to 16, would be something that would benefit them probably the most, because they can get more than just the 4 in. But Tony Petitti didn't back down from this. And cut number 1 from yesterday, he was pretty adamant that formats that increase the role of the committee won't have his support.
With respect to format, the Big Ten has been consistent in its strong preference for a playoff system that allocates spots based on conference standings and the results of play-in games. We want to better connect the regular season and the postseason. A critical goal of any postseason format, regardless of sport, is to keep as many teams alive as deep into the season as possible. We want more conference games to matter in November. Also, the playoff format should not function as a disincentive to schedule tough non-conference games. As we said throughout this process, we are open to considering any format ideas that come from our colleagues or the CFP staff. But to be clear, formats that increase the discretion and role of the CFP selection committee will have a difficult time gaining support from the Big Ten.
I think there's a few red flags there in terms of de-incentivizing the regular season, especially with play-in games. Because if your whole mission is to not de-incentivize the regular season, let's just use Big Ten last year as an example. Oregon and Penn State were the 2 teams that played in the championship game. So then you'd have Indiana, Ohio State, Illinois, Iowa, all playing for a chance to get into the college football playoff. Well, let's just say that Ohio State was the 3, and if Ohio State and Indiana had to play, they're only separated by a game. But in a hypothetical, out of those teams right there, you have to play a team you've already played, and then you lose that game. But you beat them in the regular season to be ahead of them in the standings, but you lost the game to get into the college football playoff. I think that that kind of waters down your regular season a little bit.
And they're not beating the allegations of them not having necessarily the strongest conference top to bottom. Yes, top heavy. Yes, you have won championships, but top to bottom, when we start talking about Purdue, Northwestern, Michigan State, right?
Oh, yeah, those teams were bad.
Yeah, so they're not very good as far as the top to bottom league. But I guess my bigger question is, did he just shank Greg Sankey? Did he just kind of like walk up behind him and shank him a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Because I thought we were rolling into I thought it was understood it was us. And now he's saying no, it's not us. It's y'all.
It's y'all. We are going to take the decisions out of the committee's hands, which I understand in theory, but when we want access for more teams, we want more fan bases to get involved, but we only want teams from our conferences to have their fan bases more involved, or the SECs, not any other conference that plays football in America, because then you're just giving out 4 to 2 different conferences before we put toe to leather, which I think is just antithetical to everything that we do, not just in football, but in sports in general. And again, I'll read you the teams that would have been in a play-in for the college football playoff. Now, Oregon and Penn State would have been playing for the Big Ten title. They'd be in regardless. In this format, you would have had Ohio State taking on Iowa, and then you would have had Illinois and Indiana playing for a spot in the college football playoff. Iowa was 8-4 last year. Is that a team we want in the college football playoff? Is that one of the best 16 teams in the country? No.
No.
Absolutely not. And I love the Iowa football program because anytime there's a team that says punting is offense is funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been kind of a meme amongst themselves for the last decade and a half or so. What are we doing here? Some years you're not going to have 4 teams good enough to get into the college football playoff, especially in a 12 team format. Some years you just won't have it. And you know what? That's okay. That's why we play the games. But he's going to get into a point, if that ever was to come to fruition, which I don't think it will, where they're going to take a bid from a team like Ohio State. They're not going to be very happy about that. Or a team that, let's just say in this hypothetical, Illinois and Indiana played during the season and Indiana beat Illinois, and then Illinois beats them in the play-in game, then if you're Kurt Signetti, you're probably like, hey, regular season didn't mean that much because we beat them in the regular season so we could be ahead of them in the standings, but because of this one-off game, we don't get into the college football playoff despite having a better record, despite beating them in the regular season. You then watered down your regular season a little bit. It seems like the entire purpose of the auto bid format, which everybody hates but the Big Ten, is done because it's incredibly self-serving.
So on the cut list here, it has Petiti saying, we don't care about how many conference games the other leagues play. Genesis cut number 2. Now, very clearly, when he's saying we don't care about how many conference games the other leagues play, who's he talking about when he says other leagues?
That would be the Southeastern Conference.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear. Jane, can we hear clip number 2 so I can hear it, so I can get some context for this?
Yeah, so first, it's not a must. Like, each league will decide what they think the best conference schedule is for them. I think in a system where you have allocated spots, I think in talking to our athletics directors and coaches, I don't think we really care how many conference games any league is playing because you're qualified off your conference standings. That's sort of up to you to run your own league and decide how you want to do it. But when you get to a system that's increasing the at-larges and increasing the work of a selection committee, that's when you need to understand like how we're competing in the regular season. Like, look, at the end of the day, it's really simple math. With 18 schools and 9 we're losing 9 more games to start. And so at the end of the day, I think it's really relevant. So will we consider more at-larges? Like right now, I think the first thing is to really understand what everybody's doing in their conference schedule. But there's a second really critical part, which I mentioned in my remarks, which is what are we doing to get the selection process right? So I think those two things go hand in hand. First is how many conference games are we playing? And then secondly, what's the selection process going to be? People have talked about improving the committee's work. I believe the committee does a great job with what they have, and I've yet to hear any member tell me that more data will make the job easier. They have a lot of things in front of them. We went through a mock selection, we saw it. And so I just think those two things have to go hand in hand.
Preston, I'm not a professional lie detector, but there was some fibbing going on in that clip. Some like A+ fibbing happening with Tony Petiti.
Give me the lies.
We don't care about how many conference
let me back that up. Can't never call somebody a liar. Give me the fibs.
The fibs, yes. Mm-hmm. Fib number 1, we don't care about how many games other conferences play. That has come out of every single coach's mouth in your league the last few years. And there's a reason that it's such a big deal at SEC Media Days, is because there's complaints outside of the walls of the Southeastern Conference that they only play 8 conference games. That's the whole Big Ten shtick, is that we play 9 conference games every year. Don't buy that for 1 second. The other thing, love the committee, respect the committee. No, I mean, really, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. And I understand maybe wanting to take less or put less on their plate when it comes to having to field this thing. Like, I get that. But when you're doing it by way of giving your conference more bids than might be necessary in any given season, then it's self-serving. You're doing it so you can enhance the profile of your league because in a normal year, the Big Ten is getting Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Historically speaking, Michigan has been good when Harbaugh was there. But before Harbaugh hit that peak, which took a few years to break through and really start contending for the Big Ten, then they weren't a part of that equation. It's a top-heavy league. And he wants to get a fourth additional team in there that might otherwise not deserve to be in there. So I think the fib there is that it's just good for the game to give the committee less responsibility. I know what he's trying to do here. And you're not slick, Tony. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to weasel Iowa into the college football playoff. You're not fooling me.
Can I go social studies teacher here real quick?
Absolutely. We're doing a lot of social sciences on this show today.
America, greatest experiment in the world. Greatest experiment, still going forward. It's a beautiful thing. But at that time, there was this thing called the Articles of Confederation.
Uh-huh.
And in these Articles of Confederation, all these states got together, and they were kind of like, we're together, but we're still looking out for ourselves. We're going to do our thing. It's called a League of Friendship. We're all together.
That sounds fun.
It sounds fun until what you want is not what I want.
Uh-huh.
And then, if we know American history, some things had to happen. Right?
Right. Some things happened.
They had the Articles of Confederation, which was a loose agreement between the states. They found out, like, hey, this loose agreement is not going to work. Why? Because there's nobody there to enforce these loose agreements, and everybody's out for themselves. So then our great forefathers had to say, you know what? We need this Constitution to bring everybody together so that we all follow the same rules and so that we all are working in the same direction. Right now, college football is in the Articles of Confederation era. Everybody is jockeying for their own self-interest. And until a strong central figure like the NCAA, which is not going to happen, comes together and puts these laws into place, you're going to continue to have these types of arguments and conversations because everybody is out for themselves. And what is happening is the Big Ten's interests are bumping against the SEC's interests, are bumping against the Big 12's interests. Oh, yeah, what about that little state over there, the Pac-12 that used to exist, but nobody cares about them anymore?
Because we killed them.
Right. And so that's where we are right now. And I just feel like we're just going to keep spinning this thing until somebody comes in and says, hey, this is how we're going to do it. But that's not going to happen because everybody's protecting their own self-interest.
We're in a standoff.
So that was your 12th grade civics class in government.
That's actually impressive.
If you needed that. Yep.
For free.
Mm-hmm. That was it. That was it.
You did not have to pay for this course.
That's right.
Which is the best part of it.
Articles of Confederation versus the Constitution. Actually, that's not 12th grade. That's pretty early. That's like 7th.
It's a little early.
It's like 7th or 8th grade. But it's middle schoolish.
I still remember a civics class where to, I guess, officially pass the class, you had to write out the preamble.
Nice.
Yes.
But
to do that.
thankfully, Schoolhouse Rock. So everybody was, can I hear everybody humming and singing as they're writing it out?
They're dancing along. Bobbing along to
so
it.
music is powerful for learning.
Yep. So, yeah, if you think about college football, just think about the Articles of Confederation that didn't work. Thankfully, people knew better. We had some smart dudes that's coming around like, yeah, that's not going to work anymore.
Yeah, well, hopefully those smart dudes walk through that door at the NCAA and maybe drop the hammer and say, hey, we're going to agree on something whether you like it or not.
Ben Franklin's not walking through that door.
Out of all the Patino game names I've thrown around over the years, I did not expect to hear Ben Franklin ain't walking through that door. But there's a first time.
He would have the key to the, sorry. Go ahead.
I see where you're going with that. I can go with the history puns all day. But in terms of the Big Ten media days, Tony Petitti's not the only one who stirred some things up because there's one coach in the Big Ten who has made what I like to consider a full Harvey Dent heel turn. And I'll tell you why next on the early game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek. Why would you do that? Because for nearly 30 years, almost 3 full decades, that's the entire span of my existence on planet Earth, Midstate Roofing has been the proven leader in roofing and waterproofing industry. And it doesn't matter if they're working on high-rises or hospitals or manufacturing to industrial. Midstate Roofing designs and installs those bonded systems with a protective guarantee, and I love a good guarantee, that will keep the operation dry and running long into the future. Even if we have storms like we did last night and the heavy rains that we experienced, they're keeping that operation dry 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can speak to a technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing member during hours. The number to do so, 803-356-1919. Again, 803-356-1919, or you can hit them up online at midstateroofing.com. And remember, if you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
This summer, try the new Strato Frappuccino blended beverage at Starbucks. It's the classic blended iced coffee you know and love, now topped with a creamy layer of handcrafted brown sugar cold foam. Available for a limited time. Your Strato Frappuccino is ready at Starbucks.
Firehouse Subs, hook and ladder jingle, take one.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Warm that smoky turkey, that thin sliced honey.
Guys, this is a 30-second ad. You gotta sing faster.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Melty cheese and toast spread, mustard, mayo, purpose bread, lettuce, green, and onion. The sandwich is too big for the song. It's too big.
The Hook and Ladder, available only at participating Firehouse Subs restaurants.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Looking for a school where excellence is tradition and the future is bright? Welcome to Heritage Christian Academy, Lexington's longest-running private Christian school. At Heritage, we do things differently. Students memorize, recite, write by hand, and mentor one another.
Nestled on Barr Road in Lexington, we've spent over 25 years nurturing academic excellence and spiritual growth. From pre-K through 8th grade, our accelerated curriculum empowers students to soar. With small class sizes, dedicated Christian teachers, and a culture of respect and community, students at Heritage rise to every challenge. We follow a classical Christian curriculum, rich in truth, beauty, and goodness. At Heritage, we don't just educate minds, we shape hearts.
Log on to 1075thegame.com for a rare chance to get half off tuition. Only one spot available. Don't miss it.
Experience the legacy. Experience Heritage Christian Academy.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
And now, traffic sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive on the Game Network.
Still 2 accidents to make you aware of. Highway 1 near Ermine Road, and also Crystal Springs Drive at Edmond Highway. So those 2 still getting cleaned up this morning. 92 with some passing clouds this morning for the high. 90 tomorrow might see a late afternoon shower or thunderstorm. And then come Friday, 94 under mostly sunny skies. Right now, though, 74 with some clouds on 107.5 The Game.
with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
How do you, is there a...
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
I win. Google me. I will dodge my opponents. Google me. I'm scared of Virginia. Google me. That part was really cool. Kurt Signetti, when he said that, was really cool. And then he goes to Indiana, and they go 11-1 and make the college football playoff. Something never thought would happen.
In his defense, they won.
They won.
Google them.
And it was really cool. It was one of the best stories in college football last year. Indiana football doesn't win football games.
No, basketball.
No, they win basketball games. Bob Knight's throwing chairs. Isaiah Thomas is hitting jumpers. Even Mike Davis is taking them to a national championship. Man, long time ago. But now they're winning football games because of Kurt Signetti. And he became kind of like a little mini hero in the college football world. But one of my favorite movies, The Dark Knight, Harvey Dent hits you with a quote. They'll stick with you forever. You either die a hero, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And in less than a year, Kurt Signetti lived long enough to see himself become the villain because now he is canceling games with other Power 4 conference opponents and adding small schools that they can beat. He's adding replacing Virginia with Kennesaw State, Austin Peay, not necessarily football juggernauts. And then yesterday, this would be cut 3, Jen, he was asked about dodging Virginia, and this was his defense?
Yeah, that was a scheduling philosophy that began before I was hired, but I did sign off on it upon being hired before our first season, okay? And look, here's the bottom line, okay? We picked up an extra home game, and we play 9 conference games. The 2 best conferences in college football, any football guy that's objective will tell you, is the Big Ten and the SEC, all right? 12 of the 16 SEC teams play 3 G5 or an FCS game. 12 of those teams play 36 games, 29 G5 games, and 7 FCS games, and 1 less conference game. All right? So we figured we'd just adopt SEC scheduling philosophy. Some people don't like it. I'm more focused in on those 9 conference games. Not only do we want to play 9 conference games, okay, and have the 4-4 championship, the playoff format, okay, we want to have play-in games to decide who plays in those playoffs. Championship weekend, let's play 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5. You want to decide that on the field, make sure everybody's strength of schedule is what it needs to be? Let's make everybody play 9 conference games, and on championship weekend, 3 will play 6, 4 will play 5. And there's still room for another at-large in that format. And why shouldn't the Big Ten have 4 AQs? Because Ohio State actually finished 4th in the conference at the end of the season. Indiana and Penn State were tied for 2nd. They won the tiebreaker. Ohio State won the national championship. Okay? Put the best teams in the playoff, give the best leagues the AQs, but make them earn it with play-in games.
That's rich. That is rich.
He lost me. He started throwing a lot of numbers. He lost me for a little while, but then he brought me back with pounding the table for strength of schedule. When I had to look it up, and I didn't know it offhand, but I do recall that the main argument against Indiana last year was that they had a very weak strength of schedule.
And they did. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought so. So that's why I was like, what's going on here, Kurt?
Yeah, that's rich coming from Kurt Signetti. And I think the one thing that he kind of conveniently forgets is that because your league is so bloated, you only play half your league. So if your league's that good, then maybe somebody shouldn't be able to get into the college football playoff on a scheduling break. like Indiana did, because they only had to play Ohio State. They didn't have to play Penn State. They didn't have to play Oregon. They didn't play Southern Cal. They didn't play Illinois. They didn't play Iowa.
Dang.
Those are the other teams that were at the top of the league. They got to feast on the bottom of that league. That one was pretty rich. But then to say we are dodging Virginia to adopt an SEC scheduling model is even richer, because this is from week 1 alone. I'm not even going throughout the entire schedule of the entire season of the SEC. This is just the opening week. Auburn is playing Baylor, Big 12 opponent. Tennessee's playing Syracuse on a neutral field, ACC opponent. Texas is going at Ohio State. Alabama's going at Florida State, ACC opponent. And then you have LSU going at Clemson, not just an ACC opponent, one of the favorites to win the national title. And then South Carolina, Virginia Tech, ACC opponent. If you are adopting an SEC scheduling model, playing at least one Power 4 out-of-conference game would probably get you a little bit closer. But instead, you're going to have to deal with the smoke-dodging allegations, and I don't think you're beating them by being scared of Virginia to not play them.
Yeah, I'm just astonished because I'm going through the schedule here, and much like you, I liked Kurt. I thought he was, he's brash. And again, I don't want to be a hypocrite because I want coaches to speak their mind. Yes. I want coaches to not be boring cardboard cutouts. So I appreciate Kurt for giving us something to talk about. But when I look at their schedule from last year, I knew it was terrible. But man, UCLA, which was a league game, Maryland, which was a league game, Northwestern, which was in your league, Washington, who had come off losing their coach, Michigan State, and Purdue. When you did play people in the league that were any good, you got blown out by Ohio State, and you barely got by Michigan. So it seems like he's just conveniently forgetting what they did last year.
Uh-huh.
And also he's assuming that they're going to be a good this year, and I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, let's go through some of those teams that they played, the strength of schedule. Washington finished 6-7. Michigan State finished 5-7. UCLA finished 5-7. Northwestern finished 4-8. Maryland finished 4-8. I understand trying to promote what you did last year, but don't gaslight me, man. I'm old enough to remember 2024. It wasn't that long ago. Now, maybe in 10 years, you can really say that UCLA team had a lot of dudes. Don't Google the record. Kurt Cignetti's a big fan of how Google works. And I know Indiana didn't have the strength of schedule he is leading it out to be. And how do I know that? Just Google it. Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't that good. So Kurt Cignetti has gone full Harvey Dent. He has lived long enough to see himself become the villain. The Atlanta Falcons have become kind of villainous on this show because they are eking in to potential Preston Thorne fandom. They're getting dangerously close. But now it's time to see how much Preston values having former Gamecocks on the roster. And if the Falcons have enough, is it enough to make him consider them a little bit more? That's next here on the early game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
All right.
When USC women's basketball coach Dawn Staley talks.
I mean, our fans, they create an experience that if you don't come here, you're going to feel like you're missing out.
You hear it here.
But we're enjoying the time that the light is shown on the University of South Carolina women's basketball team.
Because it's always Gamecock season on the Game.
Y'all, July is going by fast. It's the fact that it's July 23rd today freaks me out a little bit because the summer is flying by. So you do not want to miss out on the deal that Zero Res has for you. And it's only offered once a year. Take advantage of the summer sale, 15% off. It's 15% off carpet, air ducts, area rugs, upholstery, tile and grout. Again, for 15% off. All you got to do is just mention me, Elijah Campbell, or 107.5 The Game. You can get 15% off. and it goes by fast. So make sure you hop on that now. You can contact them, schedule online at Zero Res Columbia. Get that patented cleaning process that uses zero harsh chemicals because it's a clean that's safe for you and your family and your pets. And I think we all want that. Again, schedule online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Sponsored by Compassion International.
Every day, a child in poverty waits for a sponsor is another day of hopelessness. There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
I'm Michael Jeffcoat. Way too often, insurance companies jerk good people around after a bad car wreck. Don't let them do that to you. Call Jeffcoat, all hours, every day, 803-200-2000.
Responsible attorney Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
Hi, everybody. This is Woody Wyndham here to talk about Pioneer Tree Service, Guy Gant's company. Guy Gant's not with us anymore, but his girls are the Gant girls. You know, Chelsea and Madison. You know some of the things they do at Pioneer Tree Service? Tree and shrub removal, tree pruning and thinning, tree planting, tree bracing, raising tree canopies, stump grinding removal, storm damage services, property cleaning and grading, demolition and rock removal, right-of-way maintenance. You got to get in touch with these people. 803-794-8253. Let me give you that again. 803-794-8253. Call right now and get a free estimate. For the most challenging jobs, Pioneer Tree Service. So you're going to want to call somebody you can trust, and that is the Gant girls at Pioneer Tree Service.
803-794-8253. Or find us online at pioneertreesc.com.
Call Pioneer Tree Service for a free quote.
At Average Alice Furniture Warehouse, our sofas have cushions, our tables have 4 legs, our recliners recline. So come on by for a perfectly average experience.
Cumulus Digital doesn't stop at average. We work with more than 4,000 local businesses every month, delivering campaigns that beat industry averages by over 25%, driving real, measurable growth. You're not average. Your results shouldn't be either. Visit cumulusdigital.com to start outperforming today.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
I'm Michael Jeffcoat. When good people get hurt in a bad wreck, a lot of insurance companies won't offer to pay full value to them. You deserve better than that. Call Jeffcoat. All hours, every day. 803-200-2000.
Responsible attorney Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
I know that some of you are not going to like this. In fact, I know some of you are going to hate.
He's the Spitfire of Sports Smack.
That was your trophy. You knew that, right? I mean, you did know that was an elimination game, right? Because you sure as hell didn't play like it. The hell are they doing? You know what's a better idea than winning at home? Winning right this freaking second. Now what's going to happen? Have a bunch of dopes say, see, Rome, the most overrated guy ever.
The Jim Rome Show podcast.
Now what?
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. And now, traffic sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive on the Game Network.
Road at Edmond Highway, an accident there. Also, Highway 1 near Ermine Road still causing a little bit of slowdown. 92 for the high today with some clouds. 90 tomorrow with maybe some scattered thunderstorms. It's cloudy currently. 74 on 107.5 The Game.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
So 1 week from tomorrow, Preston Thorne will officially be committing to an NFL team. And we've been doing this exercise to try to figure out which NFL teams are the most Preston-like teams. What are the most made in his image? And much to his chagrin, the Atlanta Falcons have fit 6 different categories so far.
Rise up.
Maybe.
Stop it. Just stop it.
Maybe.
I'm not ready for you to do this.
Jen's trying to save you from yourself.
I really am.
I'm
not trying to drive you to the Bears necessarily. I would love to have you there, but I know what the heartbreak feels like. But then that's why I don't want the Falcons for you.
See, Jen is like the angel on the shoulder, and I'm the devil.
Yeah,
I'm egging this on. I'm egging on the Atlanta Falcons. But then I haven't even gotten to a criteria that's the most near and dear to everybody's hearts here. Former Gamecocks. How big of an emphasis is Preston going to put on having to get to cheer for former South Carolina players? Now, this one's a little different. I have been breaking off every single NFL team into 8 different tiers with 4 teams in each one. But because there's not a Gamecock represented on every single team, we only have 4 tiers here. Now, the higher the tier, the more the Gamecocks are on that team. And some tiers have more teams than others. So, Preston, when you think on a scale of 1 to 4, what is your emphasis on getting to cheer for former South Carolina Gamecock players?
I'm trying not to game the system. I don't know where anybody leads, and my first inclination is to pick 4.
Okay.
That's my first inclination. 4 being most.
Being the most, yes. These are the teams in 4 are the teams with the most Gamecocks.
That's my
roster.
That's my first inclination.
All right, and you sticking with it?
I guess so.
Okay.
Come on, man.
I will tell you, you did dodge a bullet here, because if you played it 1 tier short,
I was going to.
If you played it 1 tier short, if you would have gone with 3, I would not have been able to hide the bleep-eating grin on my face reading off the list that's in tier 3. But tier 4, only 2 teams.
Okay.
The Carolina Panthers.
Oh, yeah.
They have 4. They have the most.
JC, Xavier, JD's not there anymore. He was kind of he breezed in and out. Who else did they have?
Was it Munderland there?
Munderland was there.
Was it? Mm-hmm.
Munderland was there. But they have JC, Xavier, Bam Martin Scott, DJ Wanham.
Oh.
DJ is okay. All right. Okay. Bam Martin Scott yet to make the roster. Has to make the roster. We'll see how that finishes out. Okay.
So those are 4. And then the Chargers have 3.
Kyle
Kyle
Kennard. I'm blanking after that.
They're also from last year's team. Rocket Sanders, Dale Von Campbell.
Okay. So again, this is really interesting because we're still yet to make rosters. So we might have to revisit this when we get to 53s.
Yes.
Because these are the obviously extended. Those are not even the 90s, right? So you go 90, then the next number is 76, I think, then it's 53, I think. So we might have to revisit this category. Well, I'm going to pick before we get to 53s, but this is interesting because just humor me. In that next tier, in that 3rd tier, what were the teams in the 3rd tier?
It's really jammed because all these teams in tier 3 have 2 Gamecocks on them.
Let's cut to the chase. Who are the 2 on the Falcons?
The Falcons, it would be 1 Josh Simon.
Okay.
And Jovan Gwynn.
Okay. All right. Again, this category is fraught with some technical difficulties because everybody's not on a roster and everybody has not made the final roster. But this is sort of what led me into not having a team in the NFL, because eventually what I just ended up doing was cheering for the people that I knew were playing in the league. And I stopped. It didn't feel right to be cheering against my friends just because I had a team, So like
allegiance.
I had allegiance to players and had allegiance to people. And then as that's graduated, probably like most people, if somebody, if they say Gamecocks or if I know of a Gamecock on the roster, I might tend to pay a little bit more attention to those squads. So this is something I want to revisit. I want to revisit this, but I am glad that I did not automatically pick the Falcons. I'm slightly relieved.
You did get to dodge the Falcon bullet, but by the 31st, which is going to be the Hall of Fame game, usually cuts are made, I guess, like the first wave of them might be a week or two after that.
Yeah, I mean, cuts are made pretty quickly. Once you get into camp, then there's another cut, then there's the last cuts. I think the Hall of Fame game is the last ones.
I learned that from watching Hard Knocks.
Yes.
Watching enough Hard Knocks kind of brought me to that a little bit. Now, for a couple of the teams in that tier, like the Panthers, you can bank on J.C. Horn. Oh, and I forgot. No, they also they had Rico Dowdle as well. I forgot they picked up Rico Dowdle.
Okay.
I should have scrolled up a little bit more.
Yeah, Rico's
going to make the team.
Impressingly,
They had 5 players on the team.
this will be year 7 for Rico.
Mm-hmm. Coming off of a career year.
It's amazing how fast that year 7.
Didn't realize it'd been that long.
And this is only his second squad. He's been with the Cowboys the whole time, and now he's made his move to the Panthers almost as a lauded free agent because of coming off of that year.
He had.
So that's a very interesting idea. The date we're looking for teams to make their, which I will have my team before, but roster reduction is on August 26th. But I will have my team before then.
Now, the Panthers and Chargers certainly give you the best chance of having multiple Gamecocks on the roster. I think Cal Kennard's going to make that roster. I feel pretty confident in that. Rocket might. Jim Harbaugh loves himself some running backs. He might keep. I mean, honestly, if it's up to him, he'd probably keep 10 on the roster. He likes to pound the rock.
Mm-hmm.
But for the Panthers, you got 3 that are guaranteed, and I can see Bam making that roster too, and DJ Wanham. I can see both those guys making that roster. You can potentially have 5 for the Panthers. So
yeah, I can see that.
It adds a little bit of intrigue to it.
I've been intrigued by the Panthers. I won't necessarily say it's a hype train, but there's a lot of goodwill seemingly building in the national media behind what the Panthers are doing.
They're getting better. I think that's the thing, too, is you're seeing some actual improvement on the field, and the story is not as much David Tepper throwing drinks at fans now. It's actually about Bryce Young developing a little bit. Bryce Young finished the year pretty strong last year. They're putting up some pretty good scoring outputs towards the end of the year, and then when you look at what they did for the entirety of it, now defensively, there were still a lot of question marks, which is why I like that they gave Bryce another weapon with Tet McMillan in the first round this year. So I think McMillan's a really good receiver. But defensively, they were about as bad as it gets. Yeah, they were dead last in points against. They were giving up 31 points a game last year.
Can't win like that.
No. But the offense
I would say this. The Panthers would be a fun team to be maybe like getting on the early bandwagon. This might be a good time to get in on the ground floor before something cool happens. I like Bryce. He's fun to be a fan of. Obviously, Xavier's a lot of fun to be a fan of, right? So they have a lot of reasons why you would maybe want to cheer for that team. It's somebody who's been on my radar. Just can't overcome Tepper quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
Just can't overcome that.
In the pantheon of unlikable sports owners, I think he's in that top tier. If we're tiering it
yeah.
off. And if I had to make a personalized list of unlikable owners, hey, they're in tier 8, man. they're in 1 of 4.
He's very high because you contrast him with, let's just say, with old Jarrah, right? You get old JJ down there in the Cowboys. Despite everything else, Jerry's highly likable.
He's a personality.
He is a personality that you end up liking. Tepper, not so much.
Not so much. So we're getting a little bit closer to Preston in his decision day and finally picking an NFL team. But it's been kind of the theme of today's show. We're unpacking some Gamecock generational trauma. We'll do that next on the early game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. The Game Network keeps growing. Details soon from The Game.
Picking an NFL team to cheer for your Sundays in the fall, kind of low on the worry list. Something like taxes and tax stress, probably a little bit higher on that list maybe a little more of a priority. And if it's that for you, the Ecton Law Firm is here to help. Don't let the stresses of taxes that are weighing you down let those be taken care of by the Ecton Law Firm. You can set up a free consultation today. I like free anything. A free consultation is fantastic. 803-771-9800, and their local team will help you resolve your income or business tax issues for good. And John Ecton and his law team perfectly qualified to offer you that peace of mind that you know you deserve. Again, 803-771-9800. Take that first step to a worry-free life today, or you can hit them up at EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTONLawFirm.com.
This is Boomer Esiason with a Sports Minute. Time for our daily How Ridiculous is Scotty Scheffler stat. 15 golfers completed all 16 rounds of this year's majors. On the composite leaderboard of those rounds, Scheffler was minus 32, while Rory McIlroy was second at minus 11, followed by Xander Schauffele at minus 10. Scotty dominated, as usual, by 21 strokes. That is ridiculous. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Pro Savings Days doorbuster deals are on at Lowe's. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members save an additional $120 on a GE 21.9 cubic foot top freezer refrigerator. Plus, members save $70 on a Bosch hammer drill, now only $99. Not a Pro Rewards member? Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/23 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change.
DQ presents How to Make Your Summer Take Flight. Just head into DQ for our new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat. Treat your inner hero to an epic mix of sugar cookie dough, sprinkles, and cake batter flavor. Blend it all with legendary DQ soft serve, and it's enough to tempt Superman himself. Fly into DQ for our new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat before it's gone. And don't miss Superman. Only in theaters July 11th. DQ. Happy tastes good. Only at participating locations.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water, but you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Hi, I'm Kathy Bates. People sometimes ask what I've learned in my 2-time battle with cancer. One is that with the right treatment, you can beat it. 2 is that it's not just cancer you're battling. You also need to anticipate LE, lymphedema, a disease that can leave those who undergo cancer treatment with a lifetime of swelling and pain. If you're facing a cancer diagnosis, discuss lymphedema with your doctor. With knowledge and action, we can learn and live. Learn more at lymphaticnetwork.org.
My daughter's Aspen. She has stage 4 neuroblastoma. St. Jude is like, it saved us. The financial help given here goes a long way. The research helps, not just here, it reaches the whole world. And St. Jude is a gift. I just want to say thank you.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
The Early Game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
okay. It's okay. It's important to get it right.
I stumbled
You think of all the things that Johnny Manziel did in that uniform there for Texas A&M. He never did what Kenny Hill did tonight. Opening up the season at South Carolina. Touchdown pass to Ricky Seals-Jones. It's a 10-point lead for the Aggies. Midway through the second.
Oh, man. That's, if we're unpacking some generational trauma.
Trigger warning.
We found some. We found some. That was a team going into 2014, top 10 in the country, finished 7-6. That's one of the 6 seasons in the history of South Carolina football where they started in the preseason top 25, according to the Associated Press, and did not end up inside the final top 25, a game now known as the Kenny Hill game.
Yeah, and anytime you have a game known as the game.
For one specific player.
One specific player who, I bet if you ask Texas A&M fans, they'd be like, yeah, that was the Kenny Hill game. It wasn't many other Kenny Hill games after that.
No.
I believe actually, not only did he have a game, he had a nickname, Kenny Thrill.
Yes.
If you remember that, Kenny Thrill.
He threw for 511 yards in that game. 511. And I got a little curious this morning when we were talking about that game. Did a little math. He threw for almost 20% of his season total in that game.
Jeez.
Almost, because he got to about 2,600 yards in the season, but 500 of it.
Kenny Thrill, yeah. And you know, you think about that game, what do you say, ranked number 9 coming into the game?
Yep.
I didn't realize this. You just laid this nugget on me. First ever game on the SEC network.
It was.
The hype machine was rolling. Spurrier, number 9. We're coming back. Except there was a couple of really red flags that people maybe we just ignored because we all had on our garnet goggles on. But any team that loses Jadeveon Clowney, you have a new defensive coordinator come. Well, a coordinator that was there, but he was taking over the defense solo. There were a lot of question marks on that defense, and we all went into that game early on a Thursday. It was hot, expecting good things to happen, and immediately we was like, oh boy.
You realize the defense wasn't ready.
And they were not going to be ready for the whole year.
Gave up 30 points a game that year.
Yeah, so that was a moment that maybe a generation of folks may have been radicalized, where you had your hopes up and immediately it was crushed for the rest of that year.
First game in the history of the SEC network. Do you remember the first game in the history of the Big Ten network?
Do not.
That would be Appalachian State beating Michigan. Big Ten Network opens up their first ever game that they air on that channel. A team that was top 5 preseason AP poll, losing to an FCS school at home.
Another memorable game.
Very memorable game. So at least you're not that. At least that history is a little easier to swallow.
And this is where Gamecock fans who have some of the generational trauma would say, oh yeah, there was the Kenny Hill game. But then I believe if you polled them, there'd be several other insert player game. We had Ray talk about the JoJo Kemp game.
Yep.
And usually the way it works is it's a player who doesn't do it for the rest of the season. It just magically seems to happen against us. It might be a backup quarterback, random running back, receiver who hasn't done much all year.
Marquez North.
Exactly. Those are the things that seem to happen. So we're trying to exercise some of these demons because we're assuming that we're going to be ranked pretty highly in the AP top 25, and we have to knock this off of us.
And I do have some good news here. I don't want to bring up bad past without bringing up the hope of a good future. Yes, out of the 10 times in the history of this program they've been ranked going into the season, only 4 times did you finish in the top 25. But those 4, or I guess 3 of the last 4 times you've been ranked to start the season, you did finish inside the top 25. The recent history tells you it's possible. So out of those 4 times, those last 4 times, the only time you didn't was that 2014 year.
So yes, we know 82 Furman and 84 Navy, 90 we know, but let's focus on the recent past.
And it's the first time that Shane Beamer's been in this position too.
That's true.
So give our man a shot to get South Carolina in the final top 25 preseason poll when the season ends. That's all for hour number 2. Hour number 3 coming up next. Jordan K from the State at 8:15 and a whole lot more.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com. This report is sponsored by Carolina Conditions Home Services. Carolina Conditions Home Services specializes in generators, drains, and electric car chargers, making them your one-stop shop for all your comfort needs. Visit their website at carolinaconditions.com or call 803-233-7172 for expert service you can count on.
Sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Life matters. Will Rogers said, live your life in such a way that you won't be afraid to sell the family parrot to the town gossip. That's good advice, but I doubt any of us are so squeaky clean that we would be comfortable with our life as an open book. If the worst moments of our lives were made known, most of us would die from sheer embarrassment. That's one reason the gospel of Jesus Christ is such incredible good news. The prophet Isaiah puts it this way, "Come, let's reason together, says the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be whiter than snow." The grace of Jesus is sufficient to block the shame of our past and give to each of us incredible hope for a new life. This is Stephen Chitty from Christian Life Church. Visit us at ChristianLifeColumbia.com to learn more. And remember, friends, life matters, and so do you.
Hendrick.
Love Chevrolet and Love GMC are now Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Now with an even larger selection and make no payments for 90 days. Visit the new Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC in Columbia. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
And now, traffic sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive on the Game Network.
Accident out there, Crystal Springs Road at Edmond Highway. So be mindful of that this morning. Looks pretty good otherwise. And we're looking for a high today of 92. Going to see more clouds than sun, it appears. And tomorrow, 90 will be our high and a chance for maybe some afternoon or evening thunderstorms. Come Friday, sunny, 94 will be the high. And then we will get into that stretch where temperatures could be close to 100. And we're going to have about a 6-day stretch of that. And the heat index could be as high as 109. 74 right now.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Early Game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
The early game starts right now. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen, bringing us back to kick off the final hour with maybe the most underrated Ozzy Osbourne banger.
I like that.
Underrated. I would say maybe the most underrated Ozzy Osbourne tune, Mr. Crowley, is a banger. The NCAA doesn't often produce bangers.
No, they don't.
Preston Thornton. How's that for a segue? That's not their thing. That's not their thing at all.
There won't be a lot of people mourning when the NCAA moves along.
But NCAA did receive, I would say, for them, good news because it's a detour from Lawsuit City. They've had a lot of frequent visits. A lot of visits. But something has popped up. It's where maybe they will spend less time there.
They did manage, it feels like they managed to take a detour, roundabout.
Yes.
Like, hey, listen, you're going to Lawsuit City, you might alternate route.
Like if you put in Deloitte in your GPS and NCAA in the same search bar, it's going to bring up Lawsuit City. And it's the only thing it's going to bring up. You can't go anywhere else. Or if you want to put NIL Clearinghouse in there.
NIL Go, Lawsuit City.
Lawsuit City. It immediately redirects. Immediately. Not even a bug in the operating system. It's a feature, right? Ross Dellinger tweeted yesterday and posted his article with it. Says attorneys have resolved a dispute over how the College Sports Commission handles NIL collectives, sources tell Yahoo Sports, revising its approach to treat them like other businesses, a major move that paves the way for continued collective operations. He goes on to say that such a move likely shifts college athletics into the realm of a soft cap, and like Greg Sankey has said, while not ideal for legislating competitive equity, the soft cap will result in more cash to athletes, especially non-rev players who don't earn rev share. Ultimately, a win for everybody involved. Yes, I know we are trying to legislate competitive balance as much as humanly possible, but if you would like to avoid Lawsuit City, I'm afraid that's something you have to go by. That has to go by the wayside here.
You remember when we talked about the House settlement, and the phrase that I kept repeating that I read was, I didn't make it up, was that this is a starting line, not a finish line.
Yes.
We started it. We had the House settlement. We celebrated on July 1st. Way back in July. Way back on July 1st.
Long time ago. A lot has changed.
On July 1st, way back when we celebrated it. But we knew things were going to change. This, I think, is really important because there was also a report that came out that said Texas A&M, and this was just the school that just recently came out, that they had spent $50 million in NIL payments to their student athletes last year. Okay? I don't know a lot about math, but 50 seems to be way higher than the proposed cap, quote, of 20.
Over double.
There's a $30 million difference that they were going to have to try and figure out. And without this piece of legislation being passed or cleared or however you want to decide it, schools were going to have to try and figure out how to make that stopgap happen. So now they've sort of reopened the floodgates. The money can go back to pouring. It still has to go through NIL Go, whatever that means. But this seems to be a way that, once again, the NCAA has huffed and puffed, and everybody's just poked it and is like, we're not scared of you.
No, poked it like it's the Pillsbury Doughboy.
For sure.
And then instead of being mean and huffing and puffing, they just chuckle a little bit. But this, ultimately, it's going to limit the amount of lawsuits that's going to happen, because what's the biggest thing we've talked about when it comes to NIL Go, the Clearinghouse, Deloitte, all of that? We're saying immediately when they deny one, they are going to get sued because you are denying money to an athlete for their services or their name, image, and likeness in certain things.
And so they're trying to avoid that. But you have this idea of, again, the idea of a salary cap does not exist in the world. The only reason why a salary cap can exist in sports like football or like basketball, there is no salary cap in baseball, is because they have collectively bargained with the labor group that they were going to allow that. No other organizations in any other type of business can have a salary cap. So I know. So if you're clamoring for a salary cap, I get it. You're probably on the same side of competitive equity, blah blah blah. I get all that.
Right.
But the Supreme Court has ruled that the only way that can happen is if that is collectively bargained. And it seems as if they are trying to actively take as many steps away from doing that.
Yeah, that was a road they didn't want to go down.
They don't want to go down that road.
No. Even looking at all the alternative routes to get you outside of the traffic in Lawsuit City, they were looking for one that does not include collective bargaining. And that's the one thing we've been talking about forever. It's really the ultimate fix to it if you want to implement the things that the College Sports Commission wants to implement in the future, that they want to kind of lay forward. That's something that you had to do. Or, I think that we have now seen this, you can maybe get around it if you allow these collectives to still give out payments and not have to be confined to a hard cap. And that's especially good for non-revenue athletes, because if you look at the breakdown of what some people have obtained, the records or the proposals of how this is going to be divvied up, it is about 95% of it going football, men's basketball. You are getting a very small cut of to these other programs outside of it. So somebody like Texas Tech, who I think is maybe one of the best examples of this, gave a softball player $1 million to play. Najee Kennedy, who is the best softball player in the country, one of the more dominant athletes in collegiate sports, gave her $1 million plus. And her first year there, they go to the College World Series final series. They almost win a national title. I would say, Texas Tech would say that she's worth that money, because it was worth getting to that point. Underneath or under what the proposed landscape was going to be, where it is a hard cap based off of revenue share and all NIL deals have to be approved by the clearinghouse, she might not have gotten that.
Right.
So it allows other athletes who are still very valuable monetarily to their sport to continue to make that money that a free market would allow them to make.
Yeah, and this is, so essentially, we're not back to square one, but what happened is this allows the schools to make payments up to $20 million, and now you're going to get these other people supplementing that 20 to whatever level they want. And when you hear that phrase that it's a soft cap, I want to keep bringing home this point. People with money don't follow rules. They make rules.
Right, they're the ones who are making them.
Yeah,
yes.
And so you're not going to tell a bunch of people how and where they can spend their money if they want to spend their money. And they're not going to just go quietly and say, NCAA says I can't spend my money on this Ohio State roster or Texas A&M roster or South Carolina roster or whatever. Those people don't just go kindly into the night.
No.
Right?
Especially in sports, man.
Yeah. People get crazy with sports, and you want the bragging rights of your team winning, and so this is all going to be a part of it. And those people, without any law, without any arm of enforcement for the soft cap, we're just going to have people back to spending more money.
Exactly. And at least what this does now is, if you have a strong collective, good for you. You can spend more than what you are allocated with your revenue share. If you don't have a strong collective, I'm sorry, but you might want to start raising some funds, because that's how you can maybe take it to another level. Because winning is the most powerful drug on planet Earth.
So after 22 days on the shelf, collectives are back.
They're back. They've never been more back. The collectives are hopping out of that locker room right now like Willis Reed in the NBA Finals. Not even limping. The limp is gone now. It's more like Paul Pierce in the 2008 Finals, where he was getting wheelchaired to the locker room. And then all of a sudden, he's back and he's knocking down threes. He's scoring points. Yeah, collectives have never been stronger.
Like Kaiser Sose, Usual Suspects, they had a limp.
And then all of a sudden, he's good.
We're back.
He's back like he never left.
Yeah, man.
And so, like, that really is... It kind of fell into the news cycle yesterday, but that's a pretty significant development, because it does keep some of the status quo while also keeping some of the elements from the House settlement that I know they want, because it wasn't going to be sustainable that way. There's a lot that's in college athletics that's not sustainable right now. Completely get it, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But you can't start crossing bridges when you're spending all your time in Lawsuit City.
Yeah.
And the NCAA would have spent more time there. Deloitte would have been in there with them. They would have drugged them along with them. The College Sports Commission also now would have been part of the greater lawsuit city population. You're avoiding a lot of that by allowing the collectives to continue doing what they're doing. And it's one of those things, too, Preston, that should have been very foreseeable, because once you open that can of worms, you were never going to get it back in there.
No, that wasn't going to happen. And they immediately went to that, right? They immediately went from, oh, these are just going to be one-off deals, to somebody saying, oh, no, we can form these collectives. And they formed the collectives as a way to get around the original rules. And this money's going to keep flowing. You put the block here, it's going to go there. You put the block there, it's going to go here. That's just how this is going to work. But again, I'll just repeat, this is a starting point, not a finish point. Things will continue to happen. And I will say we are progressing towards a working system.
Yes. We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. There's still going to be some shockwaves, but I do think we are progressing towards a working system, one that probably mirrors something along the lines of professional sports, that will allow athletes to be compensated for their labor, but also protect ownership and institutions from having to pay above what is market value or whatever market value comes. So I think we're getting there, but we still got a ways to go.
And when I was thinking about this too, another element of the story that kind of pops up in my head, how much do you think is this a byproduct of an acknowledgement with the adults, air quotes, in the room, that the under the table money was going to be there? And if you're trying to have any type of enforcement arm or be able to enforce any type of rules, it's easier to put out 2 or 3 fires than put out 2,000 or 3,000 fires. And that was kind of what it was going to be, because these schools that are now accustomed to, who have now had a precedent of getting to spend all the money in the world that their collectives raise for them and give them to athletes, won't go quietly. They will find ways to get them. There will be math that will not be mathing when it comes to what players are making in an athletic department, especially when those athletic departments start winning money, or not winning games. Like, you can't tell me that Ohio State was going to abide by that hard revenue sharing cap when the roster that they paid for the team last year exceeded that cap.
Exactly. And I'm not sure why we ascribe any type of virtue to athletic departments that we wouldn't to any other type of business. I think we understand that in businesses, that money's going to move in there might be cash payments here, or a way to move things from the books here, or doing things. I think we all get that, but somehow we think athletics are going to be, there's a hard cap. And we're only going to pay $20 million. We're all going to abide by you remember all these coaches? Just give us the rules and we'll follow them.
Right. Yeah, because history has told us that you would be good stewards of the game and follow them. But kind of like the NFL too. The NFL does have a salary cap, and it's not maybe like the hardest cap. The NBA has kind of taken that approach of having maybe one of the harsher salary caps. But in the NFL, all the time, like, dude, I worked in a radio market where one of the hosts of the shows was Floyd Reese, former general manager of the Tennessee Titans. He used to say all the time, yeah, the raw money might not look good, but there's ways. Funny money exists, and there are ways to circumvent that to where you can get more players on your roster at higher costs than you would underneath the salary cap, because you're giving them bonuses here.
Backload contracts, bonuses, guarantees, deferments. I mean, we're going to figure this thing out.
Incentives. Why can't colleges do that too?
It can happen.
It can happen. There's a way around it to where we're not going to be spending all of our time in lawsuit city. We'll still find our way in the big LC from time to time.
Might get lost every now and then. Oh, no.
You might find your way there, but you won't be spending as much time there as historically the NCAA has over the last 2 decades. We'll take a quick break right here. When we come back, my man Jordan Kay from the State newspaper wrote a really good article about what the Gamecock offense might look like under Mike Shula and how much different it can be compared to what we saw last year when Dal Loggins was the OC. That's next here on the Early Game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
The Game phone lines at 803-404-6100. Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Now offering 12-month payment plans on all HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. Online at callAAAtoday.com. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Quietest dishwasher in the land. Like a Bosch. Dishes drier than the desert sand. Like a Bosch. Wash the dishes like a Bosch.
Clean like a Bosch. Check out the selection of Bosch dishwashers at the Nest, a Krager showroom in the Vista.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Let AAA Heating and Air shine a spotlight on your home comfort. Their experienced HVAC and electrical technicians are here to help. Right now, take advantage of up to 12-month payment plans on HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. That's right. Just a valid bank account is all you need. So call AAA Heating and Air today. Homeowners only. Call now to schedule your appointment. 803-677-1500. Tell them Jay Phillips sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Football season is nearly here, and so is your appetite. Score big at your tailgate with Substation 2 USC. Pile on the flavor with their catering boxes, 3-foot and even 6-foot party subs. Whether you're feeding 5 or 50, Substation 2 has got you covered from their Main Street store right by the USC campus. Win your tailgate with Substation USC, where game day taste better. Visit substationusc.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
And now, traffic sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive on the Game Network.
Farrow Road at 277. That's Farrow Road at 277. An accident there. Still getting things cleaned up. Crystal Springs Drive at Edmond Highway. And 92, kind of what we're looking for today with some passing clouds. Tomorrow, 90 for the high. Scattered thunderstorms possible. Friday, we're looking for sunny skies and a 94 temperature for the high. Then we get into that nasty pattern where it could be 98 to 100 for about 6 days straight. So it's going to be beastly. And the heat indices basically could be up as high as 109. But let's enjoy these next few days. Currently cloudy, 74 on 107.5 The Game.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
There are a lot of changes for this Gamecock football team. Some familiar faces, some different ones, and one of the most important new faces with a bigger role. Offensive coordinator Mike Shula. Dow Loggins now the head coach at Appalachian State. Mike Shula elevated from analyst to offensive coordinator. Offense might be looking a little different. And Jordan Kay from the state newspaper wrote about it this week. Jordan, thank you for coming on to the show. Good to have you as a first-timer here in the mornings.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it, Elijah.
And Jordan can attest to it, too. He's also on that softball team. I'm back. I'm back. We're Willis reading this.
He's back, baby.
We're back like we never left. We're not 100%. We're like at 99%, Preston Thorne. But Jordan, I want to start you off with this. The offense, we have one game, really, of Mike Shula calling plays for this South Carolina team in the offensive coordinator role, and that was the Citrus Bowl. When you've gotten to talk to the players, talk to Mike, the coaching staff, what's kind of the sense that you got that the Citrus Bowl may or may not be any type of reflection as to what this offense will look like now that he's a full-time play caller?
I think it was a small reflection, but I don't think that's going to be, what Mike Shula's offense is going to be going forward. But I don't think this is going to be like a brand new thing where a casual football fan is going to be able to look at the 2024 Gamecocks offense, the 2025 Gamecocks offense, and be like, wow, that's a major difference. Like, it's still going to revolve around the Norris Sellers. They're still going to really use the run game, probably use a lot of RPOs. The only difference is really, hey, can the receivers get open, and can when we call pass plays, can those actually result in Lenore Sellers throwing the ball and it being completed? I think that's going to be one of the big differences. And Mike Shula is really trying to work with Lenore Sellers about kind of perfecting his footwork in the pocket so that he can give himself the best chance possible to complete throws.
And that's, that one thing that you mentioned, that story too, about like maybe one of the major changes that Shula, has is for Lenore to be, quicker with the football. How important do you think is that going to be, in the passing game, and how much of the passing game do you think changes as a result of that if he gets Lenore to where he wants to be?
Oh, it's going to be huge. And, I mean, you can't discount the wide receivers, too. I mean, I think back to that Old Dominion game early September, late August. There were so many drop passes where even when Lenore was great or escaped the pocket and was still looking upfield or trying to throw, it was like there would be a drop or guys wouldn't be in the right spot, and it threw off the entire tempo. And then you can imagine you're Lenore Sellers, you're 18, 19 years old, and every time you throw the ball, it's not going well. You're going to just start taking off more. And I think that's kind of what happened. And the positive is what we saw against Clemson, where he just dazzles us and gets at everything. And the negative is he fumbled a lot. And, that's kind of the yin and the yang of when, the pass plays aren't working. Sometimes it's great, but other times it's not. And so I think, Mike Shula is saying, hey, let's perfect your footwork. Let's get your timing right. Let's make sure all the fundamentals are good so we give ourselves the best chance possible to complete these passes.
Jordan, have you noticed or do you notice any philosophical and or coaching style differences between Mike and Dal as far as the way they, not play calling, but the way they actually coach?
Not really so far, no. And maybe we'll start to see that a little more during fall camp as we're around those guys a little bit more. But I think a big part of the hiring Mike Shula is he was somewhat of an extension of Dal Loggins last season, working as an analyst and the guy on the sideline during games, really coaching up Lenore Sellers after drives, and after those interceptions, and after touchdowns or whatever. So I don't think there's a huge philosophical shift. I mean, Dal Loggins and Mike Shula are both NFL guys who kind of were around Lenore Sellers. So, no, there isn't something huge that I've noticed so far.
As of right now, do we have an indication whether or not Mike Shula will be on the field or in the press box?
I can't. Elijah, was he up in the press box for the when you were calling the play for the spring game?
Yeah, he was up in the press box. Yeah, I can confirm he was in the press box, not on the sideline.
Do you think that's something that will continue this year?
He's going to be in the press box.
Yeah, I think it might. We have a one game sample size on that one too. And I think he was in the press box for the bowl game as well.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. Yeah. So I think he'll be in the press box, but Clayton White on defense though is a dude who's been on the field his entire career. So at least they'll have one coordinator on the field.
I guess that leads me down my next question. With him moving to the press box, who is the next person to be coaching up Lenoris on the sidelines as far as the coaching staff is concerned? Do we know that yet?
No, that's a great question. That's got to be something we figure out over the next week or two as the media days and stuff get going. Because, there's not right now. There's not that veteran analyst that Mike Shula was. So perhaps it's one of the younger analysts or assistant QB coaches or whatever, or perhaps it is one of the other offensive assistants.
And one of the big things to hit on here, too, is obviously as an offensive coordinator, one of your big objectives is to have that rapport with your quarterback, to be able to have the quarterback take the teaching that you have and really get to apply it. And I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons why this was a no-brainer to elevate Coach Shula to this job, is because he does have a good rapport with Lenoris. Based off just the conversations you have, what's the relationship like in terms of helping Lenoris develop last year and what that might look like, I guess, as a coordinator?
I think they have a fantastic relationship. And the big thing, I think, for Lenoris and Mike Shula, forget about the last name. Forget about the fact that, Mike Shula has been in the NFL for 30-whatever years. Like, Lenore Sellers grew up idolizing Cam Newton. And this is the guy who helped Cam Newton have the MVP season and go to the Super Bowl. Like, there is an inherent, respect, I think, from Lenore Sellers to Mike Shula. And that's before you even get into the fact that he was with them all of last season, helping him day in and day out at practice, being the guy during games to kind of help him, hey, what'd you see from that defense? What did you see on that throw? What are we looking at? Blah, blah, blah. Kind of the middleman between Dal Loggins and Lenore Sellers. There's just so much respect and understanding between those two guys. And I think Lenore Sellers feels he can learn a ton from Mike Shula, and that's a good place to start.
If you haven't checked it out yet, you absolutely should. Titled, Will there be noticeable changes in Mike Shula's offense at South Carolina? He's Jordan Kay. Follow him on Twitter at Jordan Kay, Kaye _23. And Jordan, appreciate your time as always. We're getting a little bit closer to fall camp. And before we get you out of here too, are we ever going to get word on Rasul Faison? Ever?
I think they might just announce it 10 minutes before the first game to see how close they can go to the buzzer.
They'll make it a real game time decision.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's absurd at this point. I mean, we're starting practice here in a week, man. What are we doing? But Jordan, thanks as always for your time, brother. We'll talk to you down the road.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Good stuff. We'll go take a quick break, and when we come back, Preston did it again. He did it again.
He's heating up.
He's heating up. It's the Corley Pool Solutions Checker Flag Challenge. That's next here on the Early Game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Sponsored by Metz Plumbing.
If you got a problem, it just won't quit. Just won't quit. And you need a plumber to make the trip. Metz Plumbing. MetzPlumbing.com.
Want a way to make your life a little easier? Are you in need of heating and air or electrical repairs? AAA Heating and Air offers up to 12-month payment plans on HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. That's right, just a valid bank account is all you need. Call AAA Heating and Air today and get your comfort back on track. Homeowners only. Call now, 803-677-1500. Tell them Jay Phillips sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
I'm with Stephen Samuels of the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm. Stephen, what does True Injuries, True Lawyers really mean?
It means a lot. It means we help people with truly serious injuries, and our entire team will do whatever it takes to make it right. Even if your case is difficult, we have the resources and experience to go toe-to-toe with the big insurance companies. We've done this, and we've got you.
Samuels Reynolds. True Injuries, True Lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Hey, this is Paul Romanstein, proud owner of Midlands Landscape and Lawns, here today with my two sons.
Hey, I'm Blake Romanstein. Midlands Landscape and Lawns is a family-owned business rooted right here in the Midlands for over 30 years.
And I'm Braden Romanstein. We're not just local, we're your neighbors, and we're going to take care of you like you live next door.
From residential landscaping to hardscape design and installation to maintenance and everything in between. Call or visit Midlands Landscape and Lawns today at midlandslandscape.com.
Hendrick. Love Chevrolet and Love GMC are now Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Now with an even larger selection and make no payments for 90 days. Visit the new Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC in Columbia. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Dude, I went to MUSC Health Midlands Cardiology last week, and get this, I actually saw a cardiologist.
Wait, like a real cardiologist? Not someone just filling in?
Yep, professional, experienced, top of their field. It's reassuring to talk to the heart expert, you know?
Totally. Where'd you go?
They've got spots all over. Kershaw, Northeast Columbia, downtown, Newberry, Bamberg, Lexington.
Okay, that's basically everywhere. Did they make you come back for tests?
Nope. Same day, in, out, done. I even made it to lunch on time.
Now that's hard care that gets me.
MUSC Health.
Changing what's possible.
Introducing the Always in Stock program, only at Gamecock Traditions for the 2025 season. What does Always in Stock mean to you? It means whether you're celebrating your first game, a birthday, or just need the perfect gift, we've got you covered all season long. Choose from 18 styles of Under Armour tees, 30 champion designs, and dozens of infant and toddler outfits, always in stock. And if we do sell out after a busy weekend, don't worry. A new shipment arrives within a week or two. Gamecock Traditions, your everything Gamecock store.
BOGO is back at iMart Express.
Come on. Okay.
Right now, for a limited time only, new customers can buy their first pair of glasses and get a second pair free. Plus, with eye exams available and same-day glasses, you'll never miss a moment. It's the kind of savings and service you can really get used to.
Okay.
Find a location near you at imartexpress.com to shop our BOGO event today and see everything we have in store for you. iMart Express. Get glasses. Go see.
Discover inspiration at every touch with a luxury appliance kitchen suite by Decor. From offering pro ranges and built-in refrigeration sleek ranges to innovative wall ovens, Decor's award-winning kitchen appliances are designed for those who value style, exceptional design, innovative technology, and precision performance. Join the post-game show this Thursday at The Nest for a live cooking demo and experience the beauty and capability of a Decor kitchen firsthand. Food, drinks, and inspiration, all powered by Decor. See you at The Nest on Gadsden Street. Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free. And now, traffic sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive on the Game Network.
Crystal Springs Drive at Edmond Highway, still getting that earlier tie-up all taken care of. Farrow Road at 277 also a report of an accident. 92 is the high we're looking for today. 90 tomorrow with some scattered thunderstorms being possible. And then 94 on Friday under mostly sunny skies. Up to 75 currently on 107.5 The Game.
With former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
All right. I goofed. There's a flag on the play, and it's on me. The penalty? Not knowing what day it is. Right for the break, if you're listening right now, excited about the Corley Pool Solutions Checker Flag Challenge, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I got your hopes up because that's actually tomorrow. When I was filling the grid out, I put in for the wrong day.
That's okay. Because we did change it up last week.
We did change it up last week.
Changed up last
week. Possibility.
But yeah, and you're new to the show, so you're just getting in the routine of a few of the regular segments. But yeah, we'll talk to Josh Harris from Darlington. Usually it's every Thursday at 8:30. So,
yes.
But why not be excited? Preston, as we said, totally on a heater. Three-peat. Like, dude. I guess it's a hat trick.
Yeah.
That counts as a hat trick. That does.
A turkey in bowling, maybe.
Ooh,
right? A
there
turkey
you go.
in bowling. So
3 races in a row. He has won.
That constitutes being on a heater.
Things are going well.
That's really so good for you because I'm not there. But it's okay. We can talk about that more later. And
Jen had a little bit of heartbreak this past weekend.
Yeah.
On the track.
Alan Gustafson.
Yeah.
I'm not real happy with right now.
No, absolutely.
Bad pit call for Chase Elliott. So it's okay. It's all good.
But it's healthy to talk about it. And Jen was back here, during the break, we were talking about that race.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of been like the theme of the day. We're letting out some Gamecock demons, right?
See? Exactly.
Like, I may have disappointed you going into this segment, and Chase Elliott might have disappointed Jen on Sunday, despite expectations that he was going to win, especially since he led for a lot of that race. But we're not going to keep that from us being optimistic, but it's healthy to be able to release the demons of when you were radicalized into Gamecock PTSD. It's kind of the theme of the day's show. We started with a poll question of the day a couple days ago about how we kind of feel about being fifth in the SEC, being voted fifth in the entire Southeastern Conference going into this year, and they're going to be in the AP Top 25. So we've had a lot of, I guess, therapeutic fun letting a lot of this out. And Jen, I think we have one play to revisit as well that hasn't been mentioned yet.
Plus at Neyland Stadium today, hoping Tennessee can damage South Carolina's hopes of a division title.
Foreshadowing.
Second down and a yard, and Shaw will throw. And Shaw going downfield and got a man. It's pulled in by Demir Bird. He'll take it to the
That was fun, right?
That was fun.
That was fun.
That part was fun.
play of the drive.
It was looking real good at that point.
Worley will throw, facing pressure. And
That's a name that didn't resonate very well in this fan base.
after the big fumble.
Pig Howard, great name.
Great football name.
Great football name.
Good tailback name.
Walk-in touchdown for Rajon Lane.
It was looking good, then it was looking bad.
And the pitch to Davis. To the 15.
Mike Davis, first down for your life.
Very solid.
We thought it was
entry.
touchdown for the season here.
Here he comes. Worley gets the pass away down the field. And a one-handed grab. It's North again.
And there's that. The Marquez North. We've had a lot of really good submissions. We have the Pinnock fumble. That was one of them. We have, there was someone said just in one text, just said Jarvis Moss.
Yeah, and we both went like, oh yeah, Jarvis Moss. And we came to the conclusion that if there is a thing where you can just say a name or you can associate a name with a game like the Jarvis Moss game where he blocked 2 field goals and continued to let Florida go on to win the national championship that year, which there was some funny play. There was some funny things happening. On the disciplinarian of Urban Meyer, we've since come to find out how tight a ship they ran down there.
Really
Florida.
known for laying the hammer down.
And
behavior.
Elected to suspend Jarvis Moss for convenient. He just got his calendar messed up. He saw because they were playing South Carolina and they were playing Western Carolina the next game. He's like, Carolina, I'm gonna suspend them for one of them, and he just conveniently picked the Western Carolina.
He just
game.
saw the first cardinal direction on his compass whenever he pulled it up and said, West, that's right. We'll suspend him for the West.
Yes. So the Jarvis Moss game, also known in Florida circles as Gamecock block.
Yeah. Blocked not one, but 2 kicks.
Yeah. So that could be a potential.
The Jarvis Moss game is one of them. And then that one was the Marquez North game. I don't think Marquez North had any idea where the ball was. Speaking of cardinal direction, I don't think he had any idea where that ball was coming from. And it somehow just magically landed in his hands.
I believe Ray brought up the JoJo Kemp game in which JoJo was pleading to get out of the game. The coaches sent him back in. He had 17 carries for 131 yards, 3 tutties. We were tired of JoJo Kemp by the end of that one.
That hurts.
So there have been some very strong submissions, but we're encouraging you all to get the demons out because we're ranked high this year.
Yeah.
And we don't want to go into this year carrying extra baggage.
And that was kind of our point. Like there is some history that reflects being pessimistic or being nervous, having PTSD. Like a fourth of the voters in that poll. So a lot are cautiously optimistic, which I completely understand, but only 14% in that Twitter poll are really embracing being a favorite.
Nobody was fired up. I feel like everybody's like protecting their heart.
And that's perfectly normal. In the world of psychology, perfectly normal, perfectly explainable for a lot of human behavior.
But you have to open your heart to love in order to find it. You have to open up your heart to this fandom of the possibilities of things that could happen.
Believe in the law of attraction.
Exactly. Because here's the thing. This is what a phrase I've heard of, and I think it has rang with me. If you're a pessimist and you're right, what do you get out of that? You get to be right about being bad, right?
right.
So, so if you're an optimist and you're right, things could go well for you. So, hey, man, don't just err on the side of, just like the old Gamecocks like we always do. I understand the precedent for that history, but we have a chance to do something different this year.
Kevin says push off Gardner. I think we've had a lot of in terms of villains, and
he came up on the villain side. Yep.
I mean, he's getting a lot of run on these.
The Gardner game, the push off game.
Yep. There's Scott says the David Pollock game.
Yeah.
Had a great career, but he had a game.
The David Pollock game coincides with the Pinnock fumble. Same game. So 2 different perspectives. 2 people are walking around in Gamecock Nation with their trauma being linked to either David Pollock or Andrew Pinnock, depending on, but we're saying shed it all.
Yes, absolutely. Because here's the numbers that I was able to come up with when preparing for this yesterday. Carolina's only been ranked in the preseason AP poll 10 times. This will be the 11th, because I can almost guarantee they will be. Be surprised if they're not. Out of those 10 years, South Carolina only finished ranked in the final top 25 4 of those times. However, 4 of those times came in the last 6 seasons that they were ranked in the preseason top 25, meaning out of the last 6 appearances in the preseason top 25 poll, 4 of those years you managed to be in the final AP poll. And in all 4 of those years, not only did they finish in the AP poll, they were higher than where they were slated. So 2001, 2011, 2012, 2013, all ranked higher than they were to start the year. So I choose to be an optimist because I think that number is maybe more indicative of the future of South Carolina football. Lou Holtz pushed it forward. Steve Spurrier took it further. And now we're at a spot where Shane Beamer can take them where they've never been, the college football playoff.
Yes, but see, this is what it is. It's a different level. It's a different fan experience. It's a different fan experience when you, like last year was a magical ride. We didn't have a lot of high expectations, and then this thing just started building. It builds to a crescendo. All of a sudden, we're in a 6-game run. We're beating Texas A&M. Lenoris is throwing people off on 3rd and sellers. It's great. This year, it's like the difference between making money and protecting money. Nobody has fun just put it in a nice safe vehicle and protect your money. That's not fun.
No.
We want to make it.
Make it, spin it.
Yeah, last year we were making the money. This year we're kind of like, it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but I would say embrace it because this is, as we've heard, it doesn't come around very often.
We'll embrace our winners next on the early game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach, The Game Network. When USC men's hoops coach Lamont Paris talks.
My favorite part of this whole job is the relationships and the development of players.
You hear it here.
Now you have to do a lot of the teaching and a lot of the demonstrating to 11 new guys.
Because it's always Gamecock season on The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the Sportsman Ed, sponsored by WeatherGuard Truck and Van Equipment. They're just as driven as the hardworking pros they serve. Today's birthday shout-out goes to Harris English. The 36-year-old from Valdosta, Georgia, is having quite a 2025. He won the Farmers, he tied for second at the PGA Championship, and he just finished runner-up at the British Open. I think we'll see him on the Ryder Cup team for sure. I'm Boomer Esiason.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their tools, but to protect their professional reputations. Whether it's inside or outside of work vehicles, a WeatherGuard badge means pros can trust that their hard-earned name is in good hands. Since 1968 and every day since, WeatherGuard has been protecting anything it takes to build a professional reputation. WeatherGuard, established in 1968, proven every day. WeatherGuard.com.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Correct. Dial all sevens now. We got a $250,000 settlement for a client injured in a car accident when driver illegally turned in front of him.
Dial all sevens now.
The Nestapool Law Firm is not scared to go to court. We got a $2.5 million jury verdict for our client when the other driver failed to yield.
What do? Good heavens. Dial all seven.
To get your attorney, dial 800 all sevens now.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and more. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. And love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21.
All right, Takis fans. Wendy's knows you love your Takis Fuego chips. So we thought, why not make a Takis Fuego meal with a Takis Fuego chicken sandwich with spicy chicken topped with crushed Takis Fuego chips and creamy corn spread. Plus, it comes with Fuego fries inspired by Takis and a bag of Takis Fuego chips. If we had any more heat, we might start an actual... I told him this would happen. For an intense new take on Takis chips, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Includes 1 ounce Takis Fuego chips while supplies last. Takis and Fuego trademarks are used under license.
Attention construction pros. Purple Wave Auction brings quality equipment to your fingertips. Join our bi-weekly online auctions featuring dozers, excavators, loaders, and more. We provide detailed listings, photos, and seller contact info. Inspect online or in person. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Visit purplewave.com today and see why informed builders choose Purple Wave. Transparent processes, real deals. Your next great purchase awaits. purplewave.com.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Final segment of today's show, and it's time to award winners. Who won today's show, Preston Thorne?
I'm going to go with my teammate, Andrew Pinnock.
All right.
His name got brought up for the fumble, but I would remind everybody that Andrew played in, let me count up really quick, 12, 11, 13, played in 40 games as a Gamecock, all SEC freshman team. Once he graduated as a Gamecock, was part of that three-headed monster backfield, Ryan Brewer, Derek Watson, Andrew Pinnock. They were awesome, part of the sea change that happened with that squad. Went on to play for, I think I'm looking here, 10 years in the NFL as a fullback, which is ironic because Andrew was built like a fullback, but in his mind, he believed he was a tailback. Right? He wanted to he believed he was the tailback in his mind. In his mind, he was a tailback. He had the spirit of a tailback in his mind, but when you looked at him, like, you're a fullback. And when the NFL called, he went and played for the San Diego Chargers. Part of that great squad, part of those really good squads that could never quite get over the hump.
Regular season teams.
Great regular season squads with Phillip Rivers, Tonio Gates, all of those really LT, you know, like all those really good teams. He was part of those squads. So Andrew Pinnock had a immaculate college football career, and then probably had an even longer, definitely more profitable NFL career. So shout out to you, Drew. Shout out to Pinnock, my guy. Winner for the day.
I love it. And my winner for the day, random players who just have games, right? Here in Columbia, South Carolina, Jarvis Moss isn't known for anything else he did at Florida. He's part of some championship teams. He's going to be known for the game where he blocked, 2 kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Hill, in all of college football, not even just here in Columbia, South Carolina, the Kenny Hill game is the only game anybody knows of from him. That and the disappointment of what he did after.
Kenny Thrill.
Yeah, 511 yards in a season opener on the road. Yeah.
The problem for Kenny Thrill was he was sandwiched in between Johnny Manziel and Kyler Murray. And they were like, yeah, excuse me, we got this little little
magician back here.
Yeah, we got this little Sonic the Hedgehog guy back here that's just gonna run around and make all kinds of crazy plays. But yeah, shout out to you, Kenny Thrill, wherever you are right now.
Yeah, whatever he's doing.
Yeah, shout out to you. You always. I'm sure with Kenny Thrill, he looks on a map where he just hears the name South Carolina, he just lights up.
He
just makes his day better.
That forever.
Whatever, it's just like, oh yeah, that's I have to ship that to where? South Carolina. There was a time.
I had a fun time there once back in 2014. My winner for today also, optimism. Like I'm a big, in life in general, an optimist. And when I looked at the history that Carolina has being ranked before the season starts, it's easy to look at it and say, wow, only 4 times out of those 10 did you ever finish the season ranked. And then on 3 of those instances, you had losing seasons. I get it. I get the history. I get the vibes that come with that. I get fandom generational trauma. But there is a bright side to this, because out of the 4 times that you did finish in the top 10, or not the top 10, in the top 25, it was all in recent memory. 2001, a long time ago, but I was alive for it. 2011, I was in high school, definitely alive for it. 2012, 2013, recent memory. All in the forward progression of South Carolina's football program. Yes, there were some sidesteps. There were some years where you regressed a little bit, especially under Will Muschamp. But it's now being pushed forward a little bit. If there's any reason to believe in the optimism that you have, the optimist that you have in you, you can set that optimist free, because we exercise some of the demons of that Gamecock PTSD today.
Yeah, and again, where else do you get a chance to do this? There's a whole wide world of things to be very pessimistic about. In our sports games, hey, let it fly. Let's latch on to something while we have this opportunity, because we talked about windows. We are firmly in a window. The window of Shane Beamer being young and in his prime. The window of Lenora Sellers being a Heisman candidate. The hype train is rolling. The window of Dylan Stewart being here in the prime of his career. There are a lot of things. Clayton White, who knows how long this is going to last? He's going to be on some big boards, I'm sure.
Rising star in the coaching game.
We have a window right now, so I agree with you on the idea of optimism. Let's take advantage of this.
I also love that Clayton White still calls plays on defense down on the field.
On the sideline.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. I would love to know what percentage of coaches still do that.
I would say, well, that's an interesting. I would say we can all be optimists until the season starts, and then maybe reality will set in. But right now, preseason,
this is when it's fun.
Get into it.
This is when it's fun. Again, 39 days until we kick things off in Atlanta. Cannot wait to get back to Atlanta, and that should be the game where we know if the Gamecocks are for real or not. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. The Extra Point with Tyler Head coming up next. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet